Hi, everybody. Pugs. Moran, welcome to the Rant. We do this every day around about noon, live from the south side of Chicago in the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios. Current events talk, hot topics, chat room interaction, all that. I like to call talk for normal people because you're not going to get any stupid politics. Well, no, you'll get any politics you get will be stupid because... But it's not like political driven. I'm not partisan. You shouldn't be either. This is just normal people talk. Talk for the working man. Talk for the working class. Shouldn't say the working man. But we exist, at least during this show, in a world where if I do slip and say the working man, it's fine because you know I'm not an asshole. Right? We're done with that. We're done with the nitpicky. Normal talk for working class Americans. That's what we do here. Hot topics and stuff. We got all kinds of, am I plugged in? Am I plugged in? I needed to make sure that the computer was plugged in. It is. It is. Relax. We're fine. Let's check out that chat room. We like to award the podium, which is, of course, from Formula One racing. First place, second place, and third place. Who's in first place today? A return to the podium. No stranger to being first place. It's Taronda. Taronda is in first place. In second place, we have Peter. Peter, heard a rumor. Is it Peter's birthday? Ladies and gentlemen, it is, in fact, Peter's birthday. It is. Peter's like, hey, I'm third. No, Peter, you're second because Maddie don't count. Maddie don't count. She's here sweeping up and making sure the light bulbs are all plugged in. She's here because she's a part of this. I'm also thinking that I put so much on April. Like, I'm always like, well, April's the one that I trust more than anybody else because I know her. And what I mean by that is, from time to time, some of you will reach out and complain to me about some of you. Not so much anymore. But back in the day, I would get these, and I keep them private. And, people would be like, hey, so-and-so is this or that. And I'm like, I'm not paying attention to the chat room. So here's what you have to do. You have to allow for a certain degree of, humor, but let me know if something crosses the line. On occasion, things have crossed the line. Never blocked anybody. Don't know how. Don't want to learn. You would think you'd be like, Pugs, in 5 years, you didn't learn how to block people. I'm like, that would not be a useful skill to me. I am not into acquiring new censorship tools. So I hope that the chat room, man, oh man, have we cultivated, curated really a chat room of people who are all different kinds of people, but they keep this place. This is like their apartment building. And yeah, there's a weird family that cooks strange smelling food, and, but yeah, right. And then there's like a bunch of screaming kids that live down there in the basement apartment. And then there's the mean old man who lives, on the second floor but we all got each other's back. That's what the chat room is. So I appreciate that. So anyway, I relied on, April's the one I go to. April is the one I'm like, hey, what's going on? Well, actually, I haven't had to in a while, but anyway, so I don't know. Does April get to win pole positions? April can show up whenever she wants. She's my regulator. I don't know. Here's what I'm saying. It's the great Taronda. It's Peter, and it is Mikey D. That's the podium for today. That's what I'm giving the podium to. April's a pace car. You can't let the pace car is going to cross, Anyway, a couple of things I wanted to mention. Ugh. No tips yesterday. All right. I'm not going to shake the can that hard because, my goodness, no tips at all yesterday. Nothing. Day one of Pledge Week, no tips at all. Okay, just throwing that out there. But also, folks, let me draw your attention to this because many of you have been asking, and it has been quite literally years in the making or years in the avoiding finishing. But get ready, radiomisfits.com. Get ready to check it out because it drops on Thursday. Hold on, let me make sure. Let's see here. Let me make sure I get it. Ed Silla, of course, Ed of Radio Misfits, and James Parker. Episode 1 drops Thursday morning. The promo is up. The feed is already listed on Apple, Spotify, and iHeart. First social media post on the Radio Misfits channels has already dropped. All right, so there you have it, guys. If you're interested, you know what? Should we listen to promo? Let's listen to the promo. All right, said the promo drop. So, excuse me. All right, let's listen to it. We're gonna close that out. Be sure to like, follow, and friend, and all that stuff. Radio Misfits. Radio Misfits for the Misfits who worked in radio. Okay. Here we go. Let's listen. Here's the promo for Who Killed Live 105.3 to drop Thursday on Radio Misfits, available on all of your favorite podcast platforms. It says here, Who Killed Live 105.3? And for those of you who don't know, Live 105.3 was the station that I worked at for over a decade in Dallas with my partner Kelly. It was it was popular in the market. I mean, that's, I don't want to be, but more so than that, outside of the market, in the radio industry, we were kind of like a unicorn station that we were able to survive when all of the other corporate stations that were in this kind of genre, which was the Howard Stern anchored genre, all those other stations, when Howard went to Sirius XM or whatever it was that he went to first, all of those other stations just collapsed. Yet Dallas, Live 105.3 was thriving. At the time that Live 105.3 flipped to sports, it was crushing. Now, it was going through we're now talking about what is in Dallas, the very well-regarded Cowboy flagship station, 105.3 The Fan. Yeah, that's what it is. I was like, The Fan. But before it was The Fan, it didn't become The Fan because the station that preceded it or the format that preceded it was failing. No. Couple of things happened. Of course, Kelly and I walked out. We had been a stabilizing force on that station for advertisers for well over a decade. We were the show they could do business with. You had the afternoon show, which was incredibly difficult. And then you had the morning show, which only after Jagger arrived was also fairly difficult. So it was the midday show that held top 5 numbers for over a decade that could actually make a shit ton of money for the station because we would go to those meetings. We would go to dinner with, so-and-so. Anyway, that's how the game was played. The station was thriving. Kelly and I left. They didn't know what to do there. And then Russ Martin, if you remember, beat up his girlfriend. And you had the midday show and the afternoon show within a 6-week period, basically gaping holes in the side of that station. Could have been fixed, but the Cowboys were available. Cowboys were out there blowing in the wind, shaking their ass. Anyway, that's the station that we came from, Live 105.3. It was the last of America's great non-political talk stations. We would talk about things. We were a distraction station, right? And a non-political distraction station. So that's what we were. If you weren't familiar with what that station was, it was an incredibly successful station. And it just disappeared. And there were a lot of reasons why. And so me and James Parker, over the course of a few years, started asking questions of people who were there. James has been working tirelessly, at least the last year that I know of, putting this final project together. And it drops Thursday on Radio Misfits. It's Who Killed Live 105.3. Here we go. Oh, wait a second. I didn't finish reading. I'm sorry. Let me finish reading the description. Who Killed Live 105.3 is a 10-part oral history of the Live 105.3 Dallas talk station that burned hot from 2000 to 2008, then disappeared. Told by the people who lived it, hosts, producers, and insiders, the series retraces how it became a ratings machine and a cultural force. But it also digs into what went wrong, the egos, the chaos, the behind-the-scenes stories no one heard at the time. It's the inside story of a station that had everything and how it all fell apart. Woo! Who's intrigued? I'm intrigued. Let's listen to the promo. I am working on my memoirs, James, and I am burning every motherfucking bridge that there is out there, and I am blowing up every fucking person with a name that people might know, and I'm going to produce the podcast, Who Killed Live 105.3. Oh! and it will tell the story from beginning to end of exactly what a missed opportunity Live 105.3 was because of the actions of some assholes. There was some assholery going on there, and I'm done not talking about it. And we're going to tell all the stories, and we're going to allow people the freedom to untether themselves from whatever burdens they may have been holding on to for 10 years.
Thanks for 7 great years of
So Opie's sitting there on the chair, and as Russ walked through the door, Opie said really loud, "Hey, is that Russ Martin dick?" I will attempt over the next few episodes to tell the full story of the rise and fall of one of the most successful yet short-lived radio stations in American broadcast history. Who killed Live 105.3? Oh! Oh, God. Oh, God. One more? No? Okay, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Drops on Thursday on all of your favorite. Here, I would like to say a couple of things after playing that promo. Although I have heard me say all of those things in different forms of the podcast, I had never heard it, spliced together in that way. First time I heard the promo. So I was hearing it for the first time with you. Yikes! Yikes! Everything that I said there, I said 5 years ago. Everything is 5 years old. I'm a changed person, man. I am a change, but that's, so I told James, you put it together. I have no editing control over it. I distance myself from a lot of what I heard there. First of all, I would have preferred the profanity have been bleeped out. It's for a couple of reasons. One, it's always more interesting when it's bleeped out. And secondly, I don't know. I don't know. There's a part in there, I guess, where I said something like, and I'm sick of not talking about it. Well, I got that out of my system 5 years ago when we made the podcast, and now I am in fact sick of talking about it. And now is when the podcast is coming out. So, oh God, oh my God. All right. Anyway, here's what I would love for you guys to do with that. Please try and make that a hit in Dallas. That's not really going to be of interest anywhere else. But you folks, you are my friends. I need you to be a relentless promotion machine for this. There is no way for us to make any money off it. We tried that. We tried to sell it. Certain advertisers who were really interested very early in the process, then said, well, we still do a lot of business with what that station is now. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a completely different company. And the problem is that the management is still there. The management is still there. So we couldn't even get this thing. They all heard it. They're like, this is good. But they're like, we can't. We still do business with them, man. So, there's no money to be made on this other than just the truth getting out, I guess. So help us promote it. Your Facebook pages are really important to us here, okay? Because most of you, I think, are Facebook people. Please go to Radio Misfits, find the link, forward it, say, I can't wait to hear this. Share it with friends. Tag your friends who you know that used to be 105.3 people, even if they don't listen to this. Help us. Help us. I mean, you guys are so loyal every fucking day. Excuse me. Don't want to swear anymore. And yet there it is. Why? Because this is authentic. Like we're friends. You guys are here every single day. Help with this, okay? Help with the promotion because this is a very specific thing that you have an advantage over everybody else. You live in Dallas and you may know people who used to like the station and might be interested in this podcast. And my God, maybe it'll bring a little attention to this. I don't know. Maybe. I don't promote it or anything in that. But I don't know. Come on, guys. Just help us out, please. Help us out. We need a break. We are the good guys, and we need a break. All right. Anyway, who did I say was the pole positions today? Not the pole positions, the podiums. We got Taronda, right? Taronda, and then I know Mikey D was in there. Taronda, the birthday boy, and Mikey D. That's right. Happy birthday, Peter. We love you, brother. All right. We have no we have no executive producer today. Here's the thing: we have no executive producer. I checked after the show. Yesterday's show was a freebie. Enjoy. Don't like to give away the freebies on Pledge Week, but hey, whatever, we're magnanimous in that way. So we had no executive producer today, but if we want to have an executive producer tomorrow, drop a little something, please. This show isn't free, especially not during Pledge Week. Now's when we need you to dig deep for the Lord. Hey, here's something that I noticed before we get into everything stupid that we're going to talk about. Got a lot of fun stuff today. We do. We got more fun stuff. I'm trying to make this show more fun. I think now more than ever, what this show needs to be is a distraction, not a part of the discourse, because there's so much just nonsense being funneled out there. Honestly, one of the ways that I branded today's show was hot war or not war. We don't even know, man. That's where we are. That's the state of discourse. We don't even know is there a peace treaty? Is this So, I want the show to be a little bit more fun. And we got some fun stuff today. We're going to do fun stuff today. And we're going to have Maddie. That's right. And you're saying pugs. Maddie's the battle axe of the left. Yeah, she is. That's why I like her. Everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs a radical in their life. Everybody, I got my right radicals, man. But you know what I don't have? I don't have a left Southern radical. She's my left Southern radical. I got a big bag full of Northern, radicals, but I can't, she's important in that way. But today, Maddie and I are going to do something that Kelly and I used to do. And I wanted to do it. I thought it would be fun. And I thought, you know what? Kelly and Maddie were friends, and let's do it. What we're going to do is we're going to break down the Met Gala. That's right. The Met Gala was yesterday. Now, what is this? This is when the 1% baby blood drinkers, what is it they say? What is it that the right says? The 1% baby blood drinkers. This is where they get up and they try and out peacock one another. They wear the craziest outfits. And Kelly used to love this. And every year we would look at the pictures, and we didn't have the, actual pictures the way we will now. So you can share along. We used to have to just describe it. But Maddie's going to join us, and we are going to break down the Met Gala. She knows about fashion stuff, too. Turns out she's super up on all this. So I'm just going to be, the drunk at the bar going, was she dressed like a peacock? I'm going to be that guy. No, we're gonna thumb through the best pictures. We're gonna thumb through the best outfits, celebrities out there peacocking, rich people drinking baby blood and dressing like silly. That's what we're gonna do. So Maddie's gonna join us for that. We're gonna talk about the problem with the summer concert industry, what they're calling blue dot fever. I'll explain what that is. Secret Service. There's a Secret Service guy who Secret Service is not having a good couple of months. Let's just say a couple of months. I think we're at the point now where we got to talk about a couple of months, and there's another Secret Service guy who's in the news for some antics. All right, so we'll get into all of that stuff. But as I was driving in, you guys wrap your mind around this, okay? So I'm driving in, and there is, on my drive-in, through the Southwest, I drive 294. I don't know if you guys are Google Map nerds. What's he talking about? I drive between 57 and 95th Street on 294. So I get on 294 at 57 and I take 294. And there is this prime piece of real estate. And you drive by and they're building something. I'm like, what are they building? That looks really cool. You can see the different stages as you drive by. And it turns out it's one of them you store it places. It's one of those, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's a U-Haul or a Shore Guard or whatever, but it's really elaborate and it looks like a Crystal Palace kind of a deal. And I started thinking, man, what? First of all, where I live, and I know in Dallas too, in Dallas maybe even more so, but there are these storage facilities everywhere. Everywhere. You can't go 3 blocks in Dallas without finding another storage place. It's the same here. It's the same here in Chicago. But this new incredibly cool building that I've been driving by going, what is it? Turns out it's going to be like a you store it place or it's a multi-level kind of a thing, but it's big. It is big. It is the size of a warehouse from the 1950s. It just sprawling and all glass, and you can see it's just really, really cool looking. These were not always things, okay? These storage places were not always things in our culture and in our society. I mean, I remember when you moved, you put stuff in a friend's basement or someone's attic, or you used someone's garage. There weren't these rental warehouses, garages that you can get. This seems to be something that maybe started to pop up in the 1980s, but it certainly wasn't a thing, before that. Not to the grand scale that it is now, where every half mile is another sprawling you store it complex. So what does this say? Why is this? Where did this come up? Why is it that people in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s didn't seem to need this? And it's because of us. It's grotesque consumerism. It is one of the things, one of the flag posts that we can point to and say, okay, this is another example of how we have changed for the negative. There's 5 shows on TV about people who can't throw shit out, hoarding, storage wars, whatever you want to talk about. I mean, this was not a problem in the 1970s. I mean, maybe people who went through the Depression and World War II, they didn't have a whole lot of shit. And maybe in American culture, until the mid 1980s, you didn't get big things and replace them with new things and then not throw the old things out, right? I made a joke yesterday about TV watching at my grandparents' house. There was always a TV on top of another TV. And then the first TV. No, actually, I have seen a TV on top of another TV on top of a TV. Because the original TVs in a lot of these homes were gigantic pieces of furniture that you didn't throw out. The TV tube didn't work anymore, but you still used it to stack things on. This wasn't always a thing, man. I don't know when exactly this happened in our culture, but you used to have to be responsible for your stuff. You used to, now I'm a minimalist. Everybody who knows I have always been a minimalist. I do not attach sentimental favor to inanimate objects. I don't. I keep them all here. Very few things. You know what I have? I have a shoebox of life. That's from the Bare Naked Lady song, Shoebox of Life. I have a shoebox of life. It's actually a briefcase, but it is a big giant briefcase of life, and it has got absolutely everything in there that has any sentimental value to me. I don't know if that makes me superior, but it certainly doesn't make me one of these people that has so much stuff that we now need to start renting new places, creating an entirely new multi-billion-dollar industry, because not only can we not throw things out, but we are just obsessively consuming new things over and over, and then we need a place for the old things. Carlin, place for my stuff, I guess. I don't know. That was my thought driving in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, when did we stop being responsible for our shit and just start stockpiling? That is not a sign of an oppressed people who are struggling. That is a sign of a thriving culture who may have lost sight of what's important. But certainly gross consumerism, that's got to be the reason. And that must have started around the 1980s, because it was around that time when you started seeing these places. Originally, I tell you the story about how I used to manage bands. Rob Barr is a guy that was in a band that I managed for a short period of time. We used to practice in those places in the 90s. Those you store it's, Hold on. Sorry, guys. I just lost something. Man, that's a cool memory though. Now that I'm thinking about it, like there was a time on a Friday night in around about 1990 when if you went to the storage facility, which this place wasn't stacked and indoors, this is one of those outdoor ones where it's all just like garages lined up. Man, there'd be 5 different bands practicing on a Friday night, and you could walk around, and there was a community. It was really cool. Now they're everywhere, and there are no rock bands. There are no rock bands to be found practicing at used storage facilities. Let's see. Adam is in the chat room. Adam says, is the audio quality not great? Is there a problem with the audio quality? All right. I'm hearing. Hold on, guys. What up, Dobler? Look at Dobler. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Now, is there something wrong with the audio? I checked before we went on. Let me see if we got bounced out. No, my audio's right. Boom, boom, boom. See, this is what happens. This is audio's fine. Thank you, Peter. This is what happens when somebody is doing something. Oh, on the 105.3 doc. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. The audio on the 105.3 doc was probably echoey. Is that what you heard? Because I didn't remember to turn down. I gotta do a thing when I do a thing. And I don't know. I didn't do that thing. All right. So I apologize. Let's see. Let's get into what we need to be talking about today. Again, please tip the show. It is Pledge Week. And shaking that tin can. Trying to do the Lord's work here. At least our Lord. The Lord who's cool. There's a lot of people out there talking about a Lord that I don't recognize. All right, hot war or not war? I'm very proud of that. That would have been the headline that I'd have gone with. Hot war or a not war? Okay. I thought we were in the middle of a ceasefire, talking about Iran, talking about us and Iran. All right. I'm talking about the Strait of Hormuz. I'm talking about Iran and any sort of ability that they still have to wage war, which I thought they didn't because I've been told that they didn't, but hey, whatever. So this is how I understood the events of the last 24 hours. When we were on the show yesterday, I told you that there were reports globally. You just go to the BBC, all right? If you just go to the BBC and see what the BBC is reporting, because again, they're not, right or left American. They're not pro-Iranian. They're just doing the news. And the BBC reported, as well as a number of other non-American news agencies. CNN, to their credit, they did, and so did MSNBC, but they were just reporting the reports of the BBC. Like they were putting it off on them. The BBC reported first that there was a whole bunch of hostility happening yesterday in the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. Sorry, I just lost I lost my place. All right, so here's how I understood it. All right, I wrote these down. These are bullet points, okay? They attacked our ships yesterday, okay? That was widely reported. The Iranians in the Strait of Hormuz attacked our ships. Our team, our Pentagon, Hegseth, whoever, when asked about it, remember I told you this yesterday. We said, no, they didn't. That's it. We just said, no, they didn't. Liar, liar. So, the BBC is like, no, we have, reports from the ground that this is what happened. So, okay. So they attack our ships. We say that it never happened because we won the war and the war is over and they don't have any capabilities left anymore because we've been so effective in waging the war. Hell, in the first 24 hours, we completely rendered them ineffectively neutralized or effectively neutralized. Now, move forward in the day. We attack 8 of their fast boats. They've got these little these little boats that are buzzing around out there, causing all kinds of havoc because they got dudes with missile launchers, and that's what they're doing. That's how they're fighting this. That's the guerrilla wave fare, if you will. Look at that guerrilla wave fare. Holy shit, did I just term a new military? Please. So we attacked 8 of their small boats. Boom, 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 just blowing them up like so much, meat into the grinder. We come out and we're like, hey, we blew up a whole bunch of their boats. And the Iranians are like, yeah, they did. Because the Iranians are like, yeah, we're at war. We attacked them earlier. They said we didn't, but we did. And then they attacked our boats. And now we're attacking the United Arab Emirates. We're going to blow up a whole bunch of, we're going to use missiles, which for the first 6 hours of this event, our military was like, those reports are inaccurate. And then, Jake Tapper hits the news at 4:00 in the afternoon with actual fucking video of oil refineries in Dubai on fire. Okay. So Iran still has missiles. The war is not over. What is going on? This is why we don't talk about it. All right, we're moving on. This is why we don't talk about it. We're trying to sell the whole world out. It's all over, folks. Nothing to see here. And right, whenever there's definitely something to see on the street corner in your hometown, and the cop is like, move along, nothing to see here. You can bet your bottom dollar there is something to see here. And that's kind of what it seems like we're being fed. BBC. Follow the BBC. They've got incredible coverage of this. I'm not going to bring a whole lot of it onto this show, but man, yesterday was a great example of how, what the hell? Hot war or not war? We're not at war. Because if we were at war, we'd have to get congressional approval, and there ain't no way we're getting that these days, so we're not at war. Hey, how about Russia? How about what's going on over there in Russia? You know about this? There's apparently Putin is in a bunker. He's all Hitlered out in the final days of, the fall of Berlin. But apparently some dude who was super powerful in the Putin world, right? Some dude, Shigoyan, I think is his name. Hold on, I got it right here. You know what? I'm just going to read it to you because, all right, here we go. It says here, and this comes from Table Mag, which is a military magazine. Now, this story is all over the place, but this is the best one from yesterday, so we're going to read it. It says, is a coup d'etat brewing in Russia? According to a report from a European intelligence agency published by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project and its Russian partner, Important Stories, the Kremlin is imposing draconian security measures amid fear of a plot or coup attempt against Russian President Vladimir Putin by senior members of the Siloviki. I don't know what that is, but So this is the accumulation of the war in Ukraine. This is their endless war. This is Afghanistan again. Remember, Afghanistan was sort of the canary in the coal mine that ended the Cold War. Ukraine might be the thing that ends Putin's weird ass, whatever it is that he is. Is he a democratically elected guy? No, he's not that. So whatever he is. Okay, so let me continue reading. It says here, okay. The Kremlin is imposing draconian security measures amid fear of a plot or coup attempt against President Vladimir Putin by senior members of the Silovki, or the Russian security elite. According to the same intelligence report, Sergei Shoigu, this is the guy. This is the dude. This is the dude that's, do you remember Przevkin? Remember the general from a couple of years ago who was like, hey, Putin, you ain't paying my elite military force to do your shit in Ukraine. So until you pay us, we're going to start marching towards Moscow. And if we have to, we're going to come and make you write these checks. Right? Remember, there was that big possible attempt by the elite Russian military unit because they were so pissed. And then at the last minute, the dude turned around. He turned his tanks around and he said, okay, we're going back to the front lines. Everything was forgiven. And then 6 months later, that dude's plane crashes. Okay, so that was the last time. That was a near miss for Putin. But now you've got this guy, Sergei Shoigu, who was his right-hand guy. He was the top security guy in Putin's regime. Well, this guy got fired by Putin a couple of months ago. Here, I'll read it to you. It says here, Sergei Shoigu, Russia's Minister of Defense until 2024, and a man who retains significant influence within the Russian military elite, is seen as a potential destabilizing actor and is, quote, associated with the risk of coup attempt. So they think he's the guy. They think he's the guy that is, conspiring this whole thing. The former defense minister of Russia. Shoigu's former top deputy, the report notes, was arrested back in March, which is a violation of the, quote, informal guarantees of safety. So in Russia, in Putin's Russia, if you are, like Hegseth, the defense, Secretary of Defense. So in Russia, if you're like that guy and you have to leave your post, there is an agreement between you leaving your post and the Kremlin that the Kremlin won't send the secret police after him or any of the people who worked in his office, right? So that's the informal guarantee of safety that they're talking about here. Now, that was violated when this guy Shoigu's top deputy just a couple of months ago was arrested in Russia. So that is apparently what they're saying is the trigger for Shoigu now rallying all of the Russian elites, the generals, the military, the oligarchs. And why is now a time when they're listening more than they ever did? Because everybody in Russia is tired of this fucking Ukrainian war. Putin's in trouble. And this might be a very real thing that's happening here. It says here, according to the same intelligence reports, Sergei Shoigu, Russia's Minister of Defense until 2024, and a man who retains significant influence, is seen as the destabilizing actor and is, quote, associated with the risk of a coup attempt. Shoigu's former top deputy, the report notes, was arrested in March, which is a violation of the informal guarantees of safety. We might be at the end of Putin, huh? The end of Putin. All right. Hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? She's the worst. She's the worst. But man, why is she not the worst anymore? This is my problem with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She went from like the worst to somebody who I legitimately would not have a problem flying on a cross country plane trip with. I wouldn't. She could sit next. She seems. Did they prescribe something? Is she taking some kind of Valium now? Because she used to be the crazy screaming Karen who believed they're drinking baby blood to stay young. Like she was that. She was that. What happened? Did she get pulled out of her holler? And did she spend some time in sophisticated DC and start learning some things? Because she is now like a semi-normal person. Or is she? Is she? Maybe she's just a broken, corrupt, freaky genius. And this is just the next character that she's creating, which is, moderate, traditional conservative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Maybe that's the work. Maybe she is still, but she's so far ahead of everybody else that she knows if she is to have a career moving forward after the days of, she's going to need to be ahead of it. And maybe that's what she's doing. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what her political future is like. Certainly in the age of MAGA, Georgia, probably not great, but she is staying relevant. So listen to this. This is something she said yesterday. Let's listen to it. At least I think it was yesterday. I don't know. The internet is. I usually make sure. I got to be honest. I'm not sure but I think this is yesterday. All right. So here she is.
I sent him.
All right. Oh, there she is. What is this? This is for Peace and Prosperity. The Ron Paul Institute.org. All right. Anyway, she's up there. She's making a speech. And she's talking about what Donald Trump is really like. Okay. Now, I don't know the context of this. Is her son in the military or something? I don't know. Or is her son going to prison? I don't know what it is. I don't know what the context is of her son. But she tells a story here about her son and about Donald Trump. So let's watch it, and then we're going to talk about it, and we're going to decide whether or not we believe it. Because, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I don't know what's going on.
All these people. I got no response from Susie Wiles. None. And she's a mother and a grandmother and a woman. I got no response from James Blair because he only cares about making money on campaigns.
So again, context, I'm not sure. She's talking about her son. She reached out to these people in regards to her son, and I don't know what her son's story is.
I sent them to all these people. I got no response from Susie Wiles. None. And she's a mother and a grandmother and a woman. I got no response from James Blair because he only cares about making money on campaigns. I did hear from Kash Patel. He said on it, but I haven't heard from him since. I don't know what he's on.
Oh.
JD Vance was very nice to me, compassionate and kind, and reassured me that he would do everything we could to find out what's going on. And then I heard back from Donald Trump. And I've saved these texts.
Can I just, for 1 second, pause it here? She's got no hate for JD. She's got no hate for JD. JD is another one who is interesting. I mean, JD Vance is completely bought and paid for by the Israeli lobby. I'm sorry, that's true. I believe that he went into these negotiations with the Iranian delegation, wanting them to fail because Israel wants these negotiations to fail because Israel would like to move on to the next stage where they just carpet bomb. And, you know, these negotiations are supposed to placate the rest of the world who are screaming genocide. And I think JD actually wanted them to fail. But outside everything else, JD Vance seems to be in some weird way, not to the degree that Marjorie Taylor Greene has, because JD is still MAGA vice president, but she seems to be, a lot of people seem to have no hate for JD Vance, is all I'm saying. And I think that's an indication that a lot of people think that JD Vance might be relevant after this. Anyway, continuing on.
Messages and reassured me that he would do everything we could to find out what's going on. And then I heard back.
Oh, wait, here, that's JD Vance. Kash Patel, she don't know what he's on.
JD Vance was very nice to me, compassionate and kind, and reassured me that he would do everything we could to find out what's going on. And then I heard back from Donald Trump. And I've saved these text messages. I'd probably get put in jail if I released them publicly, but I saved them. Where Donald Trump proceeded to tell me that it was my fault and that I deserve it. If my son gets killed, I deserve it because I was a traitor to him. That is our president of the United States. That's the man that says MAGA is whatever he wants it to be.
All right, so there you have it. That's here, but I do want to go to one thing
from Susie Wiles.
Hold on. I want to go to one thing here that she says. Hold on, let's listen.
Where Donald Trump proceeded to tell me that it was my fault.
Well, a little back further.
I'd probably get put in jail from Donald Trump.
All right.
And I've saved out what's going on. And then I heard back from Donald Trump. And I've saved these text messages. I'd probably get put in jail if I released them publicly, but I saved them.
Why does she think she would get put in jail if she released text messages between her and the president of the United States? If she was a reporter or a journalist, I mean, why that either means that she's really stupid and has terrible advisors, because anybody with a lawyer, a Washington lawyer in her immediate circle would probably be able to answer whether or not she can share private texts between her and the president of the United States. Of course you can. That's a journalist. Maggie Haberman texts him all the time, and those texts become news. Is it different because maybe at this time Marjorie Taylor Greene was a member of Congress? Is that something I'm unaware of? Correspondence between, elected officials and the president, is that different than correspondence between the president and a citizen? I don't know. But I believe that these texts took place after she had left. I think that she's talking about something having to do with her son. Is her son in the military? And she reached out to some people. And if that's the case, is she just out here going, yeah, I was looking for special treatment and they were mean to me because I wasn't a team player? Is that what we're supposed to feel sympathy for? I don't know. Anyway, people are wondering, is that a lie? Does Marjorie Taylor Greene have text messages where Donald Trump says something that heinous? Well, we may never know because it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, but here's where, it's complicated for me. I don't trust her, right? Because nobody seems to go 180 like that in such a short period of time. I don't really trust her. But on the other hand, do I believe that the president of the United States is capable of such a text message? Absolutely, I do. Of course. Did you see what he said about Rob Reiner and Mueller? Of course, man. This guy's a demon monster. He's like so cruel and mean, and he lacks human anything. He's a complete fucking manipulator, and that was transactional. Yes, I hope your son dies or gets killed because you didn't support me. So do I believe he's capable of sending that? Yes. Do I believe it was sent because Marjorie Taylor Greene says so? Oh, God. Why wouldn't she share them? Seems like, unless, it's something she's holding on to, and maybe that was a balloon. A lot of times these people are communicating with each other virally with like little clips they say on podcasts and stuff like that. Maybe that's a balloon. Maybe she's saying, hey, I kept these. I want the White House to know. But I don't know. Anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene, suddenly someone I wouldn't mind sitting on an airplane ride with. All right, one more thing here. Let me see. What else did I want to shoo? Yeah, let's do this one. All right, so this another piece of video that we're going to get to watch here.
LinkedIn can't stop what's growing in the office.
Honestly, you're going to make me watch a commercial.
I think you're making it mad.
Oh.
But we can help you grow in your career. LinkedIn is a network that works for you.
Tag 56.
All right, I want to watch a little bit of this with you. I thought I had it a little bit different. All right. One thing you know about me is that I hate the rich. Not the rich. Look, I love a man who builds a business and, has the biggest house in town and all that stuff. I hate the scary rich. And you know what I'm talking about. The scary rich, the tech bros, the hedge fund guys. They're the sons of bitches that make life so difficult for the rest of us. I think I'd always been above board on this. You know how I feel. Oh, am I a communist? Okay. Yeah. I'm a communist. There's a problem with the super rich in this country. They're not normal. I keep telling you, man. And don't be stupid. They're not alien rich people. They're lizard people and all that stuff. That's the way a stupid person decides not to have to think about the real problem. The real problem is that these are people who, again, that thing that I heard, the entire world is a luxury resort for 500 families. And the rest of us all work here, right? That is the truth that you have to understand. And you either accept that. A lot of people are perfectly happy with that. That's fine. I've got a pretty good gig here at the world's luxury resort. Maybe you're fine with it. They walk around thinking they're rich. They're like, they're the people who, they have a nice summer home and they're able to take fancy plane vacations and they've got ready to retire at 50 because they've got a couple of million and it's invested. Well, that's who those people are. Yeah. Y'all just work at the resort, man. Y'all just work at the resort. Unless you're worth at least 10 billion, y'all just work at the resort. Yeah. That's where the scale is gone now. It's like up to like 10 billion. You got to be able to buy a football team if you, want to be an actual guest at the resort. So, here's an example of just how these people are not normal. Businessmen, do you remember Lee Iacocca? I mean, do you remember who's the guy? Bob, the guy who ran General Electric, Bob Wright? Maybe. Businessmen used to be people that we could respect. They used to be people that were like, okay, I'm going to listen to that guy because he seems like he's waking up early. And he's dialing in and he's running this company, right? When did the fraud show up? Well, I'll tell you when the fraud showed up. The fraud showed up when an 18-year-old gamer was suddenly paid $1 billion for some fucking app he created. And now we've got these people who are running around with FU money from the age of 20 And these are the new titans of industry. These are the new Lee Iacocca's, the new Bob Wright. What was his name? I can't. You know what I'm saying? Something has gone really wrong. It's not I don't know what it is. It's not a meritocracy. It's not, I don't know what it is. Mark Zuckerberg, a virgin nerd who was trying to create a way to fucking creep on the hottest girls at his nerd college, is now one of the titans of the world. He didn't work his way up in the mailroom to take over the company at 35 and turn it into one of the... Nah, he didn't do it. He didn't do nothing like that. He didn't learn his way. He didn't matriculate his way up, learning society, sophisticated society as he went. No, he showed up to his first Met Gala in a hoodie because he's an idiot who all of a sudden became a billionaire. Anyway, an example of this was on... I don't know what this is. Is this CNBC News, CNBC Business, whatever? It's the guy who owns Ryan Cohn. Ryan Cohn owns GameStop. You know, he owns a number of other things, but GameStop is what he's, billionaire for. And GameStop is attempting to acquire eBay for some absurd amount of money. So and first of all, the problem is that's got everybody wondering, what is this play? Is that eBay is, I guess, so much larger than GameStop. But the pitch from Ryan Cohn is that this will enable GameStop, eBay, a combo of the two to compete with Amazon and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, nobody with a business brain can figure out how this is going to get done, how these numbers work out. So he went on with Aaron, what's his name? Aaron Ross Sorkin, I think, on MSNBC. And he's a very smart guy. He's a very smart, very dialed in business dude. And he's like doing the math to this guy, Ryan Cohn, one of these super elite mega billionaires who's probably like 15. I don't know. He's 40 something, whatever. And he's doing the math to this guy. And this guy is on TV without a care in the world, just basically like, well, I'll tell you, he's tripping balls is what he's doing. He is high as a kite. He went on TV. This is how careless, again, Lee Iacocca, this is how careless. This guy's responsible, a whole bunch of stock and all of this crazy stuff, right? He's got to go on, and he's now on TV, and he's got to sell this idea. He's got to seem competent. He's got to seem dialed in. He's got to seem like he knows what he's doing. And that's the way it used to be. Not anymore. This guy don't give a fuck. This guy's like, yeah, this doesn't work out. I'm still worth 50 billion or whatever. It's weird. It's like a shakedown. Anyway, let's watch this. I want you to see this. Again, this is GameStop CEO Ryan Cohn yesterday on MSNBC. We're going to go to the YouTube. Yeah, let's go to the YouTube. Because that way it won't be edited. All right. So again, yeah, we're seeing it. Okay. Make sure I got that on right. All right. Again, this guy right here. Tell me he's not tripping balls right now. Cause all of these tech bros and all these people, they're all micro dosing and all that. But to go on and try and explain your vision for why your little company is going to try and absorb this much larger company and not have any semblance of a clue as to how to do the math when you're confronted with it, and then to knowingly be like tripping balls. Here it is.
$6 billion, given the market cap of GameStop, which is a fraction of that. I know you have this $20 billion financing letter from TD. But sort of walk us through how you could get to that price and how it would work.
So on our website, it's half cash, half stock, but the details are on our website.
Can you help? I've read them, but can you help our audience understand them?
Yeah. Which part exactly? Well,
I think we can start with the idea that the market cap of GameStop is, call it, $11 billion. You have $9 billion on your balance sheet. Arguably, if you're providing effectively all of your stock, and then the cash that gets you to 20. You have this letter from TD. That's another 20. We're now at 40, but we're still off.
He's walking him through the math.
16. And the 20, as far as I understand, while it's considered a highly confident letter, meaning TD saying they're highly confident.
All right. So he's just done the math for him. And even with the most optimistic look at the math, which includes $20 million from TD, which isn't guaranteed. TD's just like, yeah, we might be in for 20 million. So even counting that, they're still 16 short. And so he's like, how do you get the rest of this?
That they would provide the financing. It's not locked financing.
16 billion, by the way.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Locked financing.
Wait, okay.
TD's saying as far as I understand, while it's considered a highly confident letter, meaning TD's saying they're highly confident that they would provide the financing, it's not locked financing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Look at the response.
See what happens.
What? What?
I hear you. I understand that. I'm just trying to understand where the rest of the money would come from.
This guy is tripping balls. This guy is on something. There's no way that this guy runs major companies, not with this kind of energy, and he's not engaged at all.
It's half cash, half stock.
I hear you. I'm just saying that math doesn't get you to the price that you're offering.
So
right, that's a pretty straightforward question. I don't get it.
All right, now the other host is jumping in. She's like, okay, somebody's got to say something here. Okay, there's got to be a third voice of the audience going, this is not normal. What is happening on our airwaves right now?
Like,
to the price that you're offering.
So
right, that's a pretty straightforward question. I don't get it. Like, where's the rest of the money coming from? Andrew laid it out pretty clearly.
I don't understand your question. We're offering half cash, half stock, and we have the ability to issue stock in order to get the deal done. But the full details of the offer are on our website.
But you're on our air. We thought we'd get.
So, but I don't understand your question.
No, yeah, that's clear.
Ryan, sorry, it's Melissa Liebeck at the NASDAQ. Basically, you've got 20 billion presumably.
All right, they got people all over the satellite wall who are just like, I want to jump in. I got to jump in. This is insane. This is going viral. I need to be a part of this.
From TD. Sorry, it's Melissa. So Ryan, sorry, it's Melissa Liebeck at the NASDAQ. Basically, you've got 20 billion presumably from TD. You've got $9 billion of cash on your balance sheet. So that's 29. Half cash, half stock. You might issue more shares. That's what you're talking about. So it could be dilutive to current GameStop shareholders. I want to move on though in terms of your vision for this combined company, because saying that a combined company could rival the likes of Amazon sets the bar pretty high. How do you foresee that happening given?
It does. It sets it real high. And, say what you will about Bezos, and we're going to say quite a bit about Bezos coming up in the next segment. Say what you will about Bezos. He seems to be at least a dialed-in businessman. Really? This is the guy that's going to take down Bezos?
Differences sets the bar pretty high. How do you foresee that happening given some key differences between your model and Amazon's model? Notably, Amazon has a huge logistics hub, able to offer all this other sort of delivery service, and GameStop and eBay would be confined to the platform.
There's an opportunity to build a much larger business, to make the business much more efficient, and to accelerate revenue growth.
All right, that's all we need. That's what this is about. This is about getting this deal done, no matter how absurd it looks. And then raising even more money for the expansion of that's what this play is about. He was hoping this first stage, GameStop acquiring the much larger eBay, would go pretty much unnoticed. He has no answers for anything. Those are the people who are running our economy. Those are the people who we've now elevated to the likes of, thank you, Adam, Jack Welch, Lee Iacocca. Who was the little German Jewish guy who ran Gulf Western for all those years? Adam in the chat room, he's getting all radical. He's getting all Che Guevara. He goes, "Oh, you mean the people who ruined this country?" Talking about the business. Look, I don't need your radical, political thoughts on this. I'm just simply saying there are people who, when they were known or seen publicly, they were on TV in suits. They looked like reasonable, smart people. They understood that they wwere trying to sell something that, needed to keep stockholders happy. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about what they actually did. Shut up, Adam. This guy is like, Lee Iacocca never went on Nightline drunk, okay? This guy just went on the modern business world equivalent of Nightline, and he was obviously tripping balls. I don't know what else to say. Maddie says kratom. I don't know what kratom is. What does kratom do? Every store I walk into, they're like, "Dude, you want some kratom?" I'm like, "No. I am an old man and I am not accepting new drugs. Point me to the weed, please." What does kratom do? I have no interest. I believe, one more tripping balls left in me. I got one more tripping balls left in me. And it will occur under very specific circumstances and with a very specific person, right? That's it. I will trip balls one more time with one specific person should the situation ever arise. But that's it. Other than that, again, I don't know what kratom is. Peter says kratom is evil. I have no interest. Oh, is it like ayahuasca? Ayahuasca. No, that guy's on some kind of microdose. That's a guy. That's a micro. That's what that is. I don't understand the question. Hey, man. I'm gonna take a quick break. Okay. It's like ketamine. See, I got no interest in ketamine. Man, when I was coming up, there were 3 drugs. There was cocaine, there was heroin, and there was weed. That was it. Then at some point, it's like sex. When I was coming up, there were 2 kinds of sex. Straight sex between a man and a woman, and that was done missionary. And then there was gay sex, and that involved the butt. And now the sexual menu is completely blown wide open. And the same can be said for drugs. Drugs is the same thing. Like ecstasy was introduced in the 90s. That's although that began, in the early 80s in Highland Park. Ecstasy. That's right. Ecstasy, Molly, all that shit. That particular drug combination that elicits that specific high was started in Highland Park, Texas. Professor at SMU who was doing work on marriage therapy was holding these real experimental marriage therapy sessions there at his fancy Highland Park SMU campus home. And everybody, all of his patients that were heading towards divorce would come into his living room, take a bunch of ecstasy, and then suddenly they're not getting divorced anymore. Anyway, that's the origin story. Now there's GHB, kratom, ketamine. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I have no interest in it. I know exactly what I like. And you know what I like? I don't like being inebriated. I like being settled. That's all I like. Weed does that to me. You know what alcohol does to me? Makes me do stupid stuff. Don't really like it. I wake up in the morning and I got a headache and I'm, thirsty and all that stuff. Don't really like it. A little bit of weed before bed. Man, I'm going to watch something that I'm going to be so into and then I'm going to sleep. The sleep of angels. So I don't need kratom or anything like that. All right, that's enough of me and my, intoxicants of choice. I'll have a beer if we're going to go out. Look, and that's another thing. I probably got a whole bunch more sloppy drunks in me. But the thing is, there's a time in my life when it was sloppy drunk 3 times a week. And I'm like, I don't even like this. Got to keep up appearances. So if we go out, yeah, we'll drink some beers. I'll have a couple of shots. But not like it was back in the day. I do have a couple. Like my son might have a bachelor party, so I'm gonna have to like really prepare for that because I'm sure I'll go balls to the wall for that. I mean, he's 16, so that's like 10 years off. At the soonest, I would think. I don't know. All right, I need to take a break. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. We're gonna bring in Maddie. Maddie and I, we're gonna go through the Met Gala last night. The Met Gala is this big fancy 1% peacock party where everybody, celebrities, right? It's supposed to be for the if you're invited to the Met, you are considered to be one of the cultural elite, one of the trendsetters. And then you dress. Anyway, it's crazy. Here's what we're going to do. Maddie and I, we're going to flip through some of the pictures. We're going to talk about the celebrity. She's going to explain what exactly the Met is. Don't know if she's going to defend it. I don't know how she could. Just a bunch of like rich people who are scoreboarding the rest of us. Hey, look at what we're doing on a Monday night, which is another thing. If the Met Gala was so important, it would be on a Saturday. I think we working people know that. What, did they get a discount on the hall because it was a Monday? All of us who work for a living understand how, these things work. Friday and Saturday. Friday's a little cheaper than Saturday. Saturday is certainly the most expensive thing if you're looking to party. Met Gala. They're the 1%. Isn't that typical of the 1%? Cheaping out at the end. We're going to do it on Monday. We got a deal on the hall. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Maddie. We're going to cover that. And then we got a whole bunch of other things that we're going to cover as well. It is what we call around these parts Pledge Week. So please tip the show. Help us out, man. This show needed 300 yesterday by the end of the week, right? So that's not a lot of money, man. It's not a lot of money. That's somebody who can afford it is taking me out to dinner. Me and another one. That's what it is. You can write it off. Call this a charity. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break. Please tip the show. Help us out. We're in the middle of Pledge Week. Come back with Maddie and my takedown of the cultural elite. And Maddie knows about this stuff. So, if I say something stupid, she's going to correct me. Back after this. All right, we're back. Thank you, folks. Appreciate you being patient there. Had to get myself a hot cup of coffee and go to the bathroom. And now we're going to continue on with today's rant live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios. Time, once again, we do this a couple of times a week whenever she's got something good to talk about, or if there's ever anything that I think I need a friend to talk about it with. That is today's topic. We're going to talk to Maddie. That's right, Maddie on what, Tuesday? Today's a Tuesday. All right, we're going to talk about the Met Gala. All right.
Hello.
There she is. All right, folks. It's Maddie. Maddie at the Met. Hold on. I should have done this before we came on, but I didn't. I gotta find the Met. Where is Maddie at the Met? I've got this whole file.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good. I hope we're going to be honest brokers.
Yeah, your phone's a little sketchy there, but hopefully that won't persist. We'll be able.
Okay.
Hold on, wait a second. I am looking for. All right, you know what? This is so stupid. I know exactly where I saw it, so why don't I just go and grab it again? Sorry, we're gonna scroll through the photos from Vogue magazine of last night's Met Gala. Why don't you explain to everybody what the Met Gala is? Because I'm just a working man.
Just a working man. Okay, I do have some basic information about the Met. So the Met Gala is an annual fundraising event for the Costume Institute. The Costume Institute is a separate museum that combined with the Metropolitan Museum of Art in 1946. And so part of the condition of them merging with the museum was that it had to be privately funded and would not be in reception of any of the budget that the Met gets or any federal funding. So it's always had this party. It used to be just largely a New York society party, but when
it's a big philanthropic event for the cultural elite of New York. Wealthy people have always had roles as donors in this thing. Go ahead.
Used to be, and so in 95, Anna Wintour took over the Met specifically because she was on the board, and she is the editor-in-chief of Vogue. And this is literally the intersection where fashion meets art. And she really grew that ball into what we see today, which is now one of the largest, if not the largest, red carpet event of the year. Now, to address your comment earlier, why is it on a Monday? That seems dumb. The reason why it's on a Monday is because
it's cheaper. That's why, because they got a deal on the hall. I've been there.
No, we're not. We're going to be honest brokers. So the Met Gala is at the Metropolitan Museum. It is literally at the museum. Attendees can walk through the museum. They can see the exhibits. And the only day that the Met is closed is Monday.
Oh, a likely story. They can do it Saturday nights. They weren't being cheap. All right, so here's what I want to do. Now, I hate all of these people, and I'm not particularly interested in fashion, especially this kind of haute couture fashion. Avant-garde peacocking is what I like to call it. I think it's just stupid. Can you explain to me? Maybe I'm just a guy, and maybe I don't see the world of fashion in this way. But Maddie, let me ask you something. What is the point of these incredibly obnoxious outfits? And I'm not talking about necessarily here, but whenever a straight guy watches a fashion show, there's always somebody dressed in something that you could never go out to dinner in that because you couldn't get through a revolving door because the shoulders are 40 feet wide. What is the purpose of that?
Okay. So what you see on fashion runways are a stylized version of what you ultimately see that gets watered down and winds up on the rack at a Macy's, right? So what you're seeing on the fashion in Milan or Paris, and especially when you're talking about haute couture, because that's a whole nother thing. These are not intended for average daily wear, and a lot of these gowns aren't even intended for like red carpet wear. Now, we have seen, especially in recent times with some of the Gen Z and Gen Xers who have started to be red carpet worthy, they are definitely incorporating haute couture tour fashion onto red carpet runways. Red carpet used to be a little more minimalist, but now we're seeing this being opened up. I really feel like one of the first people that kind of opened the door to the idea of that was Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga hit the red carpets when she became started to be famous, and she started to wear some really outlandish things, large and things like that.
She wore the famous meat suit. That's what really broke her through into the mainstream. Okay. Hey, hold on. So let me recap here. I asked the question, what is the point of those extravagant, crazy, impractical outfits that we always see as the apex of fashion? All right, hold on. What it is, as she just explained it to me, it's the exact same thing as auto racing. It is the exact same Caprice out there on a NASCAR track. That is not the same Chevy Caprice that you're going to be able to buy off the rack. That is an exceptional version, an animated version, an over-the-top version of what may at some point become available to you as consumers. So that's what you're saying about these extravagant outfits. Sure. They influence whatever will be on the rack. Okay, so let's go through some of these pictures here. We've got celebrities. These are, you mentioned the famous meat suit worn by Lady Gaga. Was that at Met Gala or was that at the Oscars?
No,
or the Grammys?
No, not at the Oscars. That was at one musical, probably at the Grammys.
Yeah, because you see, it used to be that the Met Gala was where this stuff was, seen. But now every red carpet for any sort of major award show seems to also feature a real avant-garde red carpet thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, going back to J-Lo, remember J-Lo with that dress?
Versace, yeah, that put her on the map, and she pulled that off of a Versace runway, and people didn't really do that. Like, they wore gowns, yes, but not looks from tour, and we are seeing more of that than we ever have on red carpet.
All right, let's scroll through some of these. What I've got up here is this is Rihanna. I understand that she was a bit of a hit at the Met Gala with this outfit. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at here. Seriously, what is going on? And by the way, the hand tats, stop it. You made a bad decision 10 years ago, and now for the rest of your life, you're going to be a lady with hand tats.
So, yeah, Rihanna, she's usually the last to arrive. She always likes to make a big splash. She actually gave us several years ago. She's an Anna Wintour favorite, and she always leans into the theme. So the theme this year is fashion is art. And so the attendees were able to interpret their fashion is art in a multitude of different ways. And so some people literally drew inspiration galleries of the museum, literally wearing dresses or these outfits that you can feel where their interpretation is coming from.
All right. And nobody cares. All right, whatever. There she is. She looks like she's wearing tinfoil or one of those emergency homeless warming blankets. That's what Rihanna looks like. So all her work, and that's what I take away from it. All right, who's this? This is A$AP Rocky.
That's her husband, A$AP Rocky. He's wearing Chanel. I think it looks a little bit like a fancy bathrobe, but for stretching what the bounds of men normally would wear on the red carpet.
Gay. Looks pretty. I don't, you may as well be wearing a skirt. Skirt? Is that a skirt or are those pants?
No, it's a robe over his tuxedo.
Okay. All right, there's A$AP Rocky. Beyonce. All right. So Lady Liberty, I don't know, Skeletor. I don't know what's going on here, but fun. Tell me about Beyonce.
Well, I mean, I think that Beyonce is really channeling some architectural aspects of art. We can certainly see maybe some interpretation. Think about like Statue of Liberty. You can see metallic aspects of this. To me, it definitely gives you architecture in its feel with gray tones, and it looks very hardware-esque. I'm not sure exactly if there was a specific piece of art that she was interpreting, but I only get some architectural aspects of this.
It's Skeletor. This is like a Game of Thrones Lady Liberty Skeletor. I don't know what I'm looking at here. That's wild. All right, there you have it. All right, let's see who's next. Now, next,
Ayanna Taylor and Tom Ford.
Yeah, now Tiana Taylor, she is of course from last year's best film, One Battle After Another. She's actually pretty cool. Aesthetically, all right, let me get a little gay for you here. Aesthetically, this looks like a fuckable ice monster. That's what this looks like. It looks like
I was getting Silver Sasquatch. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where she's driving her inspiration from here, but it was fun and it was very fringy and she was shimmying around on there. And I will say this, Tiana Taylor has an amazing body.
Yeah.
So who cares what she wears? She always looks fabulous.
All right. So let me just say about this outfit. Again, this outfit is cool. If this was in like a sci movie and she played the princess of some far off star, I'd be like, that is a badass outfit. I just don't know how this is. Could you imagine going to dinner in this? You're going to get those hairs in the soup. Like you're going to like reach
Nobody
over.
is wearing any of this to fucking dinner.
Well, then maybe they should, maybe, maybe what are we doing here? We're all wasting time. All right, let's keep going. That's Tiana Taylor. Whoa. Oh my. Who is this?
Doja Cat in the looking latex, liquidy latex nude leather with the leg exposed. Next, that's Doja.
Yeah, again, another sad hand tat situation going on here.
Look, these are rap stars. These are ours. They're gonna do what they do. But I love this. I think it looks great. There was a lot of using the body as a canvas as a part of the theme. I think that's what it's I think it looks very wearable as things we've already seen so far.
Hand tat. Hold on. Hand tat alert.
Hand tat alert. Okay.
Now, look, you know what? Now, this looks the most... Well, let me go back to its regular size. All right. Look, this looks the most reasonable. Like, I mean, it's a little weird, maybe funky. Maybe that makes it interesting. I don't know. Some aspects of it make it look like it's a raincoat. Like it's made out of raincoat material. I don't know. Like, what is this?
It's definitely meant to look liquid, look like a liquid latex.
Like gel. Like somebody smeared gel all over it. Look, that doesn't look... All right. So there we go. That's Doja Cat.
Doja Cat.
All right. I can get with that. That seems all right. Although I wouldn't want to get too close because I get gel on me and it's not a gel, it's an optical illusion.
Yeah, if it's made of latex, they usually do use like a KY jelly to shine it up, like that's normal. But so next we have Nicole Kidman wearing Chanel. The runway look from and this is a liquid red sequin with the marabou feather trim. This is a runway look. This is not, in my opinion, very leaning into the fashion is art ideology. She is a co-chair this year.
Did you marabou feathered trim?
The red feathers? Are you looking at the same?
Did you say marabou feathered trim?
Yeah.
What is is that a Muppet? What is marabou? What is she wearing? Is she wearing a Muppet? What are you saying? What is marabou? I don't know what that is.
It's a feather that they use to make
Muppets. She killed a Muppet. She's wearing Muppet.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of like Annabelle from the Muppets. But this is a Chanel look direct from Runway. She was a co-chair this year, so maybe she kept it a little more simple.
She looks great. Look, applause for Nicole Kidman. She is aging wonderfully. She had a great head start because she's beautiful, but All right, who we got next? This is, let's see here. This is Tyla. Don't have a clue who Tyla is, but let's give her a look. What's going on with Tyla?
Singer. So looks to me like Tyla is leaning into these images that we saw in the 20s and things, especially from African American performers. You think about
Josephine Baker.
Yes, Baker.
That's what she's doing. She's totally doing an homage to Josephine Baker.
But a little skimpier, a little more red carpet ready. I think she looks great. She's got, her skin looks wonderful. She's obviously put some, shiny things on her body to accentuate it.
Who is she and what is she? Is that an actress, a model, or a singer, or
She's a singer.
Okay. All right, moving on. She looks great. Good for her. If I'm her dad, I'm like, my daughter looked fantastic among the idiots. All right, who's this? hello.
Sabrina Carpenter in custom Dior.
Yeah, she's definitely doing a flapper thing too with that headgear kind of an outfit. So
this look was made custom for her by Dior. So if you look really closely at what this dress is made out of, it is made out of film of the movie Sabrina starring Audrey Hepburn. So Sabrina is wearing Sabrina as a dress, and this is strips of film.
it's hot, man. That is hot. All right, that's hot. I like this one, and I like the bangable ice monster. Who was that? Tiana Taylor?
Tiana Taylor, okay.
All right, who is this? Oh, look at this. Now, this is classy, elegant. Speaking of Audrey Hepburn.
Hailey Bieber from Saint Laurent. So Saint Laurent did a collection of these gowns with these bodice pieces that are made to look like armor several years ago. And so she literally went back into the Saint Laurent archive and pulled this and wore this. I think she looks stunning here. The color, this really saturated cobalt, is absolutely gorgeous.
She looks fantastic. That's classic. Yeah. I don't know who she is. She married to Bieber or something?
Yes. That's, that's Justin Bieber's wife.
Look, let me point out, no hand tats. That's classy. You can take that. That's going to age well, no hand tats.
Minimal makeup, too. Look how clean her face is.
Well, yeah. Again, she had a head start. Mm-hmm. She's gorgeous. Right? So, let me point something out that isn't aging well. Look at this old queen. Could you imagine this is your job? You've got to chase after some Pop-Tarts, whatever this is. Cape. This is a grown-ass man. First of all, he's not wearing socks. Now, maybe that's fashion and he knows more than me, but I can tell you this from experience. His feet are going to stink. His feet are going to stink. So no matter how cool he thinks he is, his feet are going to reek.
You think his custom Louboutin loafers down there getting stinky? Okay.
Without question. That is just human chemistry. I don't care. Also, let's not lose sight of the fact that this man appearing to be close to 60 years old, whose job it is to carry the cape or train of some woman married to Justin Bieber. That is not alpha. Okay, let's keep going. What is this? Who's the?
This is Charlie XCX, and she is wearing a gown that is inspired by the water lily picture made by Vincent van Gogh. You can see, I mean, I personally don't think that this is the greatest representation of that picture. That picture was light colors. She's got it on a black background, but you see that flower in the middle. That's supposed to represent a water lily. I think that the gown would have been more obvious or more better expressed if the color was different. This is a little dark, a little somber for the water lily painting, but I think she looks great.
All right, she looks fantastic. That is classy. That is a classy broad. Oh, what the fuck is going on here? What is this? This looks, you know what this looks like? This looks like you ever heard about that thing that happens to gay guys' butts? Like if they have sex too much and it like just completely like, what is that? Like it goes inside out.
That is Cardi B.
She's wearing a gay guy butt inside out dress. Explain.
So this is a custom made by Marc Jacobs. And so she pulled this inspiration from a German artist by the name of Hans Bellmer. And he is best known for recreating these large, almost anthropomorphized dolls. All of it, it's sculpture. So she's doing sculpture here. And if you see any of his works, you would understand they all have large, bulbous behinds and tummies and things like that. I think this looks really kind of kooky wacky, but it's the Met and people have fun with it. But this is a Marc Jacobs original.
You think that's insane? These look like two prolapsed anuses on her shoulders.
It's weird. I would agree. I mean, like, I could even get with maybe the idea of this, but I also think that the patches of color oddly placed throughout, the lilac and the pink and the peach, I don't get where that's coming from.
It is unsettling. That is how I would describe this outfit. It is.
But everybody loves Cardi, so we just go with Cardi.
Is she the one we like?
Cardi is the one we like. We do not like Nicki Minaj.
That's it. I make no distinction between the two, but maybe I should start. Right. Okay.
But here, Nicki is clearly not invited to the Met.
All right. Domingo Coleman dressing like whatever this is.
Yeah, he's in Valentino here. I I don't know. This might have been just a look that came from their runway this year. But you know, you can get some inspiration drawn from art through this. I mean, the color placement, you can certainly, I mean, don't you see that this could maybe be representative of abstract art or pointillism?
Yeah,
or,
I guess.
Yeah,
He's a dude and he's dressed silly. That's all. He's dressed silly. They look like pajama pants. It's just, it's silly. Who's that? Ooh.
So that's Ayo Edibiri. She's the girl from The Bear. And
Sydney.
I think she looks beautiful.
Sydney from The Bear. She looks amazing.
Yeah, that color looks beautiful against her skin. Makeup's on point.
Racist.
She's got. Is she racist?
No, you.
I'm racist.
Yeah. Why does her color look good against her skin? Racist.
All right, oh my God.
Keep going.
Okay.
She looks terrific. All right, we're scrolling through. Whoa.
Kim Kardashian.
Ooh. That's Kim Kardashian?
Yep. So
yeah,
Kim.
Hold on. Let me take the play. I don't know if Maddie knows about my long-standing close friendship with Kim Kardashian. So when Kim
are you in the Kardashian clan?
I'm not in the Kardashian clan, but I can tell you this, and there are pictures all over my hacked Facebook page that I also have that will back up that Kim Kardashian and I spent a couple hours together, and we were thick as thieves. We were friendly. She is the reason that I know the difference between red salsa and green salsa, because we sat there in line at the Grammys back, I don't know, 2000 and whatever this was. And we had just interviewed her. She was doing something. It was early Kim Kardashian. And when we finished the interview, she said, I'm hungry. And I said, I'm hungry. And I said, let's go to the buffet line. And so me and Kim and Andy Summer of the Police, no, Stuart Copeland. I'm sorry. It was me, Kim, and Stuart Copeland of the Police. We all got in line. And as we were in line, I turned to both of them and I said, you know what? Maybe it's because I'm a Midwesterner, but I could never tell the difference between red and green salsa. And Kim Kardashian explained it to me. Oh, and she took great pleasure. I can see why she passed the bar. She's very smart.
Okay.
So
well,
let me.
Kim Kardashian reference. Go ahead and talk about what you want to say about the outfit, and I'll explain where it came from.
I also have a picture of Kim Kardashian, me making her laugh, and she is looking at me, and she is genuinely laughing and enjoying my company. So I can take that to the grave. Her and I are friends. All right. Wow, she looks amazing. Now, this is obviously like an Avenger costume, which, I think is pretty cool. All right, go ahead, take it. I love Kim. I know that's one of the strange things about me, but I do love Kim, and I think she looks great.
Yeah, so she has the body for everything. So that's, let's just point out the obvious here. But Kim is we're doing a look by Whitaker, and this is a take on Alan Jones. He's a British artist, and he did a series of like busts and things like that, and it is about body armor. So you can see the leaning into that expression here. You said Avenger. They wear body armor, so this is a fashion representation of Alan Jones's works about body armor.
God, she is just exquisite. She is the most beautiful woman that I have ever sat and stared into her eyes. My favorite. All right, there you go. I don't want to hear it. Everybody's like, what do you mean you like Kim Kardashian? I go, look, the rest of them suck, but she's awesome. All right, let's keep going. Who's this?
This is Blue Ivy Carter. And
Beyonce. I can see oh my God, I can see Beyonce and Jay-Z. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not sure why she didn't do something makeup wise to buff out her tan lines there, but it's custom Balenciaga. She's a teenager still, and I think she looks beautiful here.
She looks great. All right, so that's the daughter of Beyonce and Jay-Z. Man, she looks. I mean, at first you see
so much like her mom.
Yeah, you see it, but also look at those lips. Those are Jay-Z's lips. She has Jay-Z's mouth and a little bit of his nose, just enough to make her still a beautiful woman, because he's not a handsome man. Who's this? Oh, this is
Serena Williams. And so Serena Williams is, you can see it everywhere. She is representing the gladiators here.
Yeah, okay. So this is another Avenger kind of look, superhero kind of thing. She's like Black Wonder Woman.
Gladiators. Yep.
There you go. All right, let's keep going. Who else? Who is this?
This is Emma Chamberlain
No
in
clue.
original Mugler. So, you know, she's one of those fashion icons. So, okay. So this dress, you can clearly see. So this is more of that body as a canvas look. And this entire dress and look is made to look like her body has been painted,
Yeah.
and then the paint is literally dripping and flowing off of her. This is stunning.
Yeah, it looks.
truly art.
Before you said that, I'm like, this looks like somebody took a bucket of paint, or it's supposed to represent a bucket of paint being poured over a human body. That is a very cool dress. So I will give it cool points.
Even the fringy details dripping off of her hands that are dipped in paint at the bottom. This is absolutely just disgustingly beautiful. It's wonderful. I think that this is truly great.
Let's move on to another Kardashian, if you will. This one is one of the Jenners.
This is Kendall, and Kendall is wearing. I want to say this is. Hold on, let me see. This is Gap Studio.
This is stupid. It looks like her bra is popping. This is looks like a design flaw in the dress. It looks like she shouldn't be wearing that bra with this dress. But continue.
So Kendall is channeling a piece of sculpture that is called Winged Victory, and it is an angel with its head cut off with the wings out back. I think it's very subdued for the Met. I don't see where this is as representative of that, but Kendall's also a little bit toned down. I think I always find that Kendall, of all of the Jenner girls, she tends to be a little bit more tame.
All right. Well, speaking of, here's her sister. Here's the other one. This is Kylie Jenner. I make no distinction between the younger Jenner Kardashians, but here's the one that you say is a one at a time. You got to find your holes and then go. All right. So this is now Kylie Jenner. We just looked at her sister. Who's older? Do you know?
I believe she is.
Nobody does. Nobody knows.
Kylie is the older of the two younger Jenners. Yeah.
Nobody knows. All right. So what's she doing? It looks like she's taking a poop or something. I don't know. Like she's pulling her dress down.
No. This is custom Schiaparelli. So the entire look is made to look as though the dress is falling off of the structure of the dress. So this is a custom corseted dress where this custom Schiaparelli gown is dripping off of her. This dress is stunning. Schiaparelli does these things. These are literally red carpet looks. These are right off the runway. They don't have to lean into the artistic aspect of these things because these dresses look like this. The designer from Schiaparelli is absolutely a genius. So I think it's beautiful. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I think she looks phenomenal.
We've moved on. We're now looking at Kris Jenner, who looks like she showed up in a muumuu. Can you see Kris Jenner here?
Oh, wait. So you're scrolled through.
Yeah, no. What are we going to do? 3 hours of this? I don't care who Rachel Sennett is. I don't know who half these people are.
You missed about 6 people.
Yeah, I'm skipping over the people I don't give a shit about. But she looks like Kendall or Kris Jenner here. Looks like she's not really even trying. That looks like a muumuu.
Well, okay, so it is a robe. It's a custom beaded robe, but you can see if you look at what the print is. This is Grecian, so she's definitely taking a nod from Grecian art here.
All right, good for her.
But look at Chris's face and stuff. She had that facelift. Like she looks younger than her daughters. It's crazy. She looks great though.
Joe Shiesty, look at him. Look at Joe Burrow. He's doing a little Asian thing, a little Oriental jacket. He is one of the most fashionable men in the NFL. Crazy that he comes out of Cincinnati, but here he is, Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty, looking good.
I wish that was a little more necked in on the side because, I'm sure he's a much trimmer guy underneath. It looks a little schluppy to me, but I like it. I like it.
All right, Joe Burrow. Who's that? Who's this? Saza. I don't know who that is. Well, I know who this is. Okay.
Yeah, you do. SZA performed with what was the guy Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl 2 years ago. She's also branched over into the actress role. But yeah, this is a lot. There's a lot going on here. You got a headdress and things like that. But I think that this is, don't you agree that this looks like something Indian, like from Bollywood, kind of an Indian thing?
Yeah. All right. We've moved on now. Now we're looking at Bad Bunny, who for some reason looks like he's showing up for a Hunger Games audition. What is going on with Bad Bunny?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that he might be channeling maybe some
dead artist, some long dead old man artist, because he doesn't have gray hair.
No, he doesn't have gray hair. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to look like who's the guy I'm thinking
Wolf
of?
Blitzer? Is he trying to reenact the White House Correspondents' Dinner? Is that what he's doing?
Sure.
That's a great bit, Bad Bunny. He's funny.
Okay. Who do you want to go to next? We have Doechii. You skipped over Chase Infinity. I love her dress. I think that's beautiful with the primary colors. Again, this is custom Tom Brown. That painted over body as a canvas look. I think that was beautiful. But then you wanted to go to Bad Bunny. So next you have Doechii. Are you going to Doechii next, or are you skipping?
I don't know. Honestly, I've lost. Who's this guy? This guy looks like he's dressed. Jeremy Pope. This guy's dressed in another like Avengers looking outfit.
Vivian Westwood. No, I mean, look at that. He's accentuating the male form there. I mean, it's a shirt that was beaded to look like a super muscular guy. Like
yeah, that's why I'm like, I would like that shirt. I think those shirts would sell. Get them on. Come on, Old Navy, step up. Fake shirts. Who's this guy? This guy looks like he works here. This guy looks like he's holding the door open for people. Who's he?
Justin Jefferson and his jacket with the torn edges. And I don't know. That's a little interesting, I guess.
Oh my God.
Questionable.
Why so many football players? I don't look at that. I like seeing the football players involved here. All right, that's it. We're done. That we can only do so much. That's enough of the fancy rich people.
Okay, so you don't want to get into some of the other strange looks. Yeah, let me see if there's one that really stands out to me that I feel like you kind of skipped over. Let me keep scrolling here because there was some wild stuff. Oh, Madonna. I feel like we need to go ahead to photo number 43 in the set.
Oh my God, what number were we on? 43. All right, there you go. I see that they're numbered now. I didn't see that before.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We're gonna look at Madonna. Hold on.
Yeah, Madonna always goes a little kooky wacky. And so Madonna, and she always goes very, very literal. So Madonna showed up with this black dress with this huge boat on her head. And she also had 6 girls that were holding out the pieces of this train. So this is referencing it's a set of photos called the Temptation of Saint Anthony, and she is literally doing this one particular piece of art called Fragment 2.
Oh jeez! Oh my God! Yeah. I just got to it.
Yeah. And so that piece of that picture, is literally a woman with this veil where there's like 6 handmaidens who are holding out the pieces of that train. And if you look in her hands there, she's holding a horn.
Yeah.
So Madonna went all in and did the full look from that piece of art.
All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, she's always been a little bit next level when it comes to the
she goes for it. But I mean, like I celebrate this. If you want, let's get off the pictures themselves.
Let's move on. We're already 30 minutes in and I got places to be today, so let's go. What else you got? Let's wrap it up. Your thoughts overall on the Met, and what was the Bezos controversy? This is what I wanted to lead into the pictures about, but we skipped over it. So explain to me what was going on with Bezos.
Well, Lauren Bezos is on the panel this year. Anna Wintour chooses several people to host this event with her. Kim has been on it several years. This year she had Nicole Kidman and Lauren Bezos. And so a lot of people felt like this was very tone deaf because, as we know, Jeff Bezos is one of these wealthy elites. He has been laying off people who work for Amazon and picking up all these companies that are helping, ratchet up Trump's control of the media and things like that. And so there were some notable stars who refused to attend who normally do, who are very dialed into social commentary and matters of that sort. And in fact, we saw Sarah Paulson, who did go to the event, but she wore this gown that was inspired by the One Percenters, and she wore like a dollar bill taped to the front of her face, kind of in like silent protest to this whole thing. So it's that whole like let them eat cake moment that people are really upset about right now.
It also, because this is Jeff Bezos, who is a total super nerd. I mean, we know this. If he could be in his garage fucking around with rockets, he would be. That's what he is. He's a nerd, right? Okay, but he married this incredibly hot social climber, model / sports anchor / author. This just hot girl who always wanted to be famous, and so now she's married to Bezos, and she has somehow convinced convinced Bezos that it would, happy wife, happy life, that it would be great if they were now the sort of icons of New York society scene. And one of the ways that she has architected this whole thing is to get him to, become chairman of the Met. So this is sort of what's being reported as the Bezos' attempted takeover of New York society. And a lot of people resent that they're, they're doing it. So yeah, well, I don't even know how it works, but apparently there's a board, right, that oversees this whole thing that you just kind of touched on.
Yeah, and Adam just cursed me out in the chat room and said that I forgot to mention that Beyonce is also a co-chair too. So sorry, I left off Beyonce.
Well, Adam and Sarah Paulson, who you just mentioned, very easily triggered. The two of them. Very easily triggered. Maddie, as always, thank you so much. That was fun. I like going through those pictures and just riffing a little bit. You're always a good partner for that. We'll talk to you later in the week, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, there she goes. All right, the Met Gala, a bunch of rich people scoreboarding the rest of us and shit that they'll never wear anywhere again, and we'll never be able to wear because although I did like that Tiana Taylor. Let's go back to that. Something kind of hot about that. She was the silver Sasquatch. She had she looked like she was wearing like a Wookiee kind of outfit, except that maybe it was like Lululemon designed Wookiee because it was real form fitting. And I don't know, I felt something. I'm not saying it moved, but when I saw that picture, I was like, okay, that's kind of sexy. In a weird porn galaxy far, far away, sexy. Something like that. All right, let's see. What else do we have to do here today? We did the game stuff. Oh, okay. This is some sad news. It's been a bad couple of weeks for the Secret Service. Apparently, did you see the story? A Secret Service guy in Florida was apparently arrested for stalking some women. And apparently, part of his move with stalking these women was he whipped it out and started right in front of the women, and they had to run into a room. It's a mess. But here's the thing. I talked about this the other day. Remember when we were breaking down the video of the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting, and I said, when I was growing up, I had a completely different image of the Secret Service agent. It was, in my mind, they were just beyond reproach. They were the top. They were so admirable in that they were willing to die to protect the freely elected leader of this great democracy. It was, it was a thing. I told you about my friend's sister who became a Secret Service agent. Oh, it was so impressive. But now, over the last couple of years, we've been hearing all of these things about who are we letting in? And, by the way, this on the heels of, remember the astronaut who drove cross country in a diaper because she lost her mind? Astronauts. Suddenly astronauts are idiots. But anyway, back to the Secret Service. We're watching the video breakdown of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I'm like, look at these guys. I used to have such respect for these guys. These guys do not seem dialed in. These guys do not seem on point. These guys are not frosty. The one, when we think of Secret Service, we think of the detail that surrounds the president, and they are often dressed in suits. They are there to blend in with the formal sort of attire that a president will wear, and in the situations where a president must navigate, right? So the Secret Service doesn't stand out. They wear suits. But that ain't the bulk of the Secret Service. That's like the cream of the crop. That's the protective detail. That is the non-uniform protective detail. There are like 80% of the Secret Service are dudes in uniforms. And we see them in those moments where we watch, like the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Those guys, most of them were Secret Service, uniform Secret Service. And they wear police uniforms, and it just says Secret Service. Anyway, must be like an entry-level kind of thing. So that's what this guy was. This guy that comes to us now in Florida who's been arrested for, I don't know, let's get into it. But again, I thought that just to get through, just to graduate the academy, just to become an actual Secret Service agent, let alone one that has protective detail around a high-profile person. No, just the Secret Service, a guy just to work in an office. They got people, hello, Secret Service. They got people who answer the phone. Just to even be that person, I thought like you had to be top of your class and completely dialed in, and that's not the case, man. That's a bill of goods that we were sold, just like everything else in this world. As I get older, I just start to realize that everything that we were told in the 70s and 80s about what we were forced to believe, that Cold War propaganda about who we were as Americans. It's all just bullshit, man. It's all just bullshit. Anyway, comes this story out of Florida. Secret Service employee has allegedly exposed himself and masturbated in front of guests at a Miami hotel. A Secret Service employee was arrested and placed on leave after he was allegedly caught masturbating in front of guests at the Miami hotel. This, according to authorities and reports. Let me show you a picture of this guy. We got to see a picture of this guy. Because then even, again, Secret Service, Kennedy's protective detail, right? What's his name? Tim McCarthy taking a bullet for Reagan, right? These guys were beyond reproach. So now we got this guy who does this thing, and he gets arrested. And what is it, like an hour later? Okay, and this is the picture. Look at this guy. This guy is a Secret Service agent. He couldn't even take a normal picture at the booking, which probably happened 90 minutes after the fucking freak out. He couldn't pull himself to look at him. My God, he looks like David Arquette. And you know, that ain't a good look. What is going on with the Secret Service? All right, let's read about what this guy got into. This comes to us. This is the page 6 story. We're going to take a look at this kid. He's a Secret Service agent. And again, he wears a uniform. He is a uniformed Secret Service guy. He is one of the dudes that you might see like on the perimeter of a hotel where a president is making a speech. His name is John Spillman. He is John Spillman is his name. He is 33 years old, and he was charged with indecent exposure for the disturbing incident that unfolded at the DoubleTree by Hilton Hotel in Miami. Let's see here. This occurred Sunday night. He was arrested Monday morning. Of course. Hold on. Let's leave it on the picture so that we can keep looking at him. All right. There we go. We're stuck on the picture. All right. So it continues to say Spillman is from Marble Falls, Texas. Jesus. Another bad one from Texas. Where's Marble Falls? Anybody? Where's Marble Falls? Texas is like its own, region of the country. Marble Falls is that because honestly, I consider North Texans to be the cool ones. North Texas, that's the cool ones. South Texans, I can't account for those people. East Texans don't want to have anything to do with those people. North Texans. I like Austin. I like Austin and San Antonio. I like that whole midsection. That's a pretty good new midsection that's kind of emerging. But the rest of Texas is very sus. So I don't know where Marble Falls is, but he was in South Florida for a security perimeter screening detail at Trump's National Doral for President Trump's scheduled visit to the 2026 PGA Cadillac Championships. The report the outlet reported. This dude was off duty when he allegedly exposed himself. So he saw some girls in the hotel, and apparently this wasn't like in the bar, not that makes it better, but it wasn't even like in a situation where you'd be like, well, he just had a little too much to drink. I think he was just in the lobby. Let's read the details. He was in South Florida. We did that. He was off duty when he allegedly exposed himself, and he's been placed on leave by the Secret Service pending the outcome of a criminal and internal investigation, the agency said in a statement. The alleged conduct is unacceptable and stands in stark contrast to the professionalism and integrity that I demand of our personnel, Secret Service Chief Richard McCauley said in his statement. Bad week for the Secret Service. I mean, I know what you're saying. You're like, well, they stopped an assassination attempt. Couldn't we be optimistic and say it's been a good week for the Secret Service? No, because the video got released, the HD video, and we saw that these guys should have stopped this guy and put him down long before he ever got to the metal detectors. But he got to the metal detectors, and in fact, he got past the roadblock. He drove through the roadblock and only was captured because you unloaded 5 bullets, didn't hit him once, and he tripped and fell. The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office did not immediately respond to the post's request for comment. Spillman is slated to return to court on May 27th. He was booked at the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center and ordered held on $1,000 bond, according to inmate records. All right, so this doesn't have a lot of good details on the story, but it did have the picture, so I wanted to show you the picture. Here's what happened, because I've read other stories about it. Apparently, he just saw these girls in the lobby and he started following them. And when he got into the elevator with them, he unzipped his pants and pulled out his pee-pee. At that point, they got out of the elevator and immediately ran into their rooms, and he was apparently following them while jerking it off. This is a Secret Service agent. Only the best. Like, I don't know if it has anything to do with Trump's only the best mandate, but I'm just telling you. This is upsetting. It is upsetting that we can't trust our Secret Service anymore. Used to be impressed. Now it seems like, Secret Service running GameStop. Anybody can do it. Secret Service. Anybody can do it. Okay. All right. Let's talk about something. Anybody big? The summer concert season is upon us here. And it is apparently going to be a really bad season for summer concerts. Why? Why, might you ask? Well, because the music industry still thinks that you're willing to pay $120 for a bullshit seat. Music industry's got their fingers crossed and they're hoping that your love of Doja Cat or whomever else is coming through your town this summer is going to make you spend your entire paycheck on a concert, and people aren't doing it. And there is now a term for what is happening with the pre-sales for summer concert season. It's called Blue Dot Fever. Blue Dot Fever. There's a story here. Where is it? Let me tell you. This is, look at this. Now, Blue Dot Fever is when let me read it to you. Okay. This, by the way, comes on the heels of yesterday, a big story. The Pussycat Dolls were going on tour this summer. They're like, it's our 20th anniversary or whatever it was. They were doing some big Pussycat Dolls, and absolutely nobody was buying tickets. So yesterday, the Pussycat Dolls put out a release that, to their credit, admitted that, yeah, we're canceling the tour because we weren't selling any tickets. A bunch of other bands have also put tours on hold, but they didn't claim it was because of poor ticket sales, even though the numbers certainly say that ticket sales were sluggish at best. Post Malone has pulled himself off the road and canceled a whole bunch of tours. Why? He says he's working on the music, man. No, people are not paying the ticket prices that these artists are demanding now because this economy is insane. And the music industry needs to wisen up. I posted this the other day. They were talking about, would you pay this amount of money to go see this concert? And I posted that, you know what? Any rock star or rock band worth their salt ought to be going out and playing free concerts. That's how rock and roll can contribute. But no, that's not what we have anymore. What we have are people who want to, sell a $120 concert ticket to a 16-year-old kid who has to mow 1 million lawns just to get shitty seats. It's not right. It's not cool, and it's not rock and roll. So comes Blue Dot Fever. The Pussycat Dolls are the latest band struck down with brutal case of Blue Dot Fever that's plaguing the American music industry this summer. Here, let me give you the story here. What does it say? By the way, this comes to us from... Oh, you know what? Why don't I just do this? I didn't realize it. Okay, yeah, I actually have a video. So we'll just watch this guy. This is a reporter for Page Six. Instead of me reading Page Six, this is a reporter for Page Six explaining what Blue Dot Fever is and how it is very much a real thing as it... Well, that ain't right. Hold on. That's bad news. Hold on, guys. Yeah, there it is. All right, here you go. We'll let this guy will explain it. Stop sharing that. We don't need that guy anymore. That's for sure. All right. We also don't need... Peter's going to a concert. He's willing to pay, and that's good for Peter. Peter's a working man, and he can spend his money any damn way he wants to spend his money. But it ain't easy for the old, reliable concert goer who is just, the kid who worked at the record store. I need to stop talking like it's 1989. I really do. Here you go. All right. This is the explanation for Blue Dot Fever, which is something that seems to be... Hold on, guys. Hold on. Why am I... My computer is working very, very slowly again today.
Music industry, and it's called Blue. There's this thing that's going on in the music industry.
Nope, this ain't right. Jesus, what is happening? What is happening? Nope. We're not sharing that. You know, we're just going to get rid of that. Get rid of that. I got too many windows open. And the reason I have too many windows open is because my computer is not closing windows. So I'm just like, fuck it, leave them up. But now I have to take a moment and let them all close. All right. We'll try this one more time. Here we go. An explanation of what the summer concert season this year in 2026. Here we go. Blue dot fever is what the industry is calling it.
There's this thing that's going on in the music industry, and it's called blue dot fever. At least that's what we're calling it. It's when you go on Ticketmaster and you see that sea of blue dots. Those are all those unsold seats in a stadium that your favorite artist didn't sell out. Well, Post Malone has paused his current tour. Sources say it's blue dot fever. He says it's because he's making some new music that's not ready yet. Meghan Trainor pulled the plug on her tour. Sources said it was blue dot fever, but she said she wants to spend more time with her family. The Pussycat Dolls canceled their tour today, although they admitted to coming down with the dreaded disease, basically saying they took a hard look at things and it wasn't going to work out. Guess you could also call it cat scratch fever. You can subscribe to the Page 6 Hollywood.
All right, no, we're not gonna. Anyway, there you go. That's another indication of, you know.
Fever. At least that's what we're.
I don't know. Under Biden, the summer concert season seemed to go off without a hitch. Seriously, just another indication of how our entire economy has been fucking tanked by this idiot. But that's okay. You'll find somebody on Newsmax who will explain how it's Kamala Harris's fault. All right, moving on. Let's see. What else do we have here? Blue Dot Theater. Hey, let's watch some videos. Let's watch some fun videos. Yeah, I got some fun videos here. All right. This first one. Take us out to the ball game, right? This is fun. So, yeah, last week I showed you the video of, you know, the guy. And it had a nice ending. Remember, it was a Cleveland Guardians game, and a home run ball got hit, and a grown-ass man stole the ball from a little girl, and the little girl was sad. And then, you know, a couple of days later, everything was fine. They were on news together, and the little girl was awesome. Right. Okay. So let me show you this one. This is a different variation of the kid and a ball being hit into the stands. This is a variant, although I've never seen this before. I am familiar with the practice that one of these children utilizes. Oh, here we go. But I've never seen anything like this before. And let's break this down because I just love this. Can't beat fun at the old ballpark. This comes to us from a Boston Red Sox game. Watch this.
What's going on too? I think you had a big card show. Oh no! What's going on too?
What is
going on too? I think you had a big card show.
All right. So what is going on here? All you see is a dad. You see this kid really upset. It looks like Big Brother, Little Brother, right? Big Brother is really upset. Dad is trying to console Big Brother. Meanwhile, Little Brother doesn't seem all that upset at all. Little Brother's on his phone. Little Brother's just, you know, but Big Brother, definitely some level of trauma has just occurred in Big Brother's life. And Dad is trying to handle both sons. He's doing incredible work too, by the way. Far be it for me to say anything nice about a Red Sox fan, but there we are.
Oh no! Did little bro ruin the moment? Threw it back. Little bro threw the ball back. Are you kidding me? Oh no! Hey bro, remember that Father's Day?
Okay, so that's what happened. All right. So let's. This video is all right. So a ball was hit, and this gentleman here does the right thing. He looks around. Remember, I tell you, if you go to this game, or if you go to any game, a baseball game, and you're between the poles, and you are, you know, it's home run territory. Unless it's a significant ball of some, you know, obvious worth, you look around for a kid. If you get a ball, you give the ball to the damn kid. All right. And that's what this guy seems to have done. So this guy gets the ball. He looks around. He sees these two little boys, a row or two behind him, and he decides he's going to give him the ball.
Hey, little bro threw the ball back.
Right, so
are you kidding me? Oh no!
So he gives the one boy.
Remember that Father's
and
Day?
then the kid throws it back because that kid's a badass. Because I don't know, was it hit by the other team? I don't know the context of this. I do know that the rules of throwing the ball back, I believe it originated at Wrigley Field. I think that was a bleacher bum thing going all the way back to the 70s when the opposing team would hit a home run into the bleachers. It would suddenly come thrown back. It has since been adopted on the South Side. I think it's been adopted pretty much everywhere, where if you are a fan of a team that someone just hit a home run off of, you as a fan of the team that just got stung, you don't put any worth on that ball and want to keep it. So you just throw that shit back. That's sort of the fans' right. So that's what this little baller does. And I don't know. I don't know if it was like a Red Sox ball or what, but this kid immediately, he's like, yeah, I'm going to be that guy. This is the little kid who's going to grow up as a contrarian. This is the little kid who's going to grow up being the thorn in so many people's sides. And his big brother right here, look at him. His big brother's like, what did you do? Let's watch it again. And that's why Dad is consoling them. Here we go. He gets the ball back from the kind. Look at that. Kindly. That's kindly. That's America right there. Cue the John Mellencamp. Ain't that America?
Oh, hey, bro, remember that Father's Day?
He throws it. Look at the big brother. You! What did you do? The big brother is just can't believe that he was entrusted with a ball and he threw it back.
Oh, no.
Let me go one more time.
Bro, remember that Father's Day back in 2023 when you
Oh, he's not handling it well. Big brother is not handling it well. Little brother goes right back to his phone. Little brother's like, yeah, fuck you. I'm just going to keep scrolling. Little brother goes right back to his phone. Meanwhile, big brother is in complete emotional meltdown. Dad can't believe what happened. Dad tried to stop it. I believe Dad's response was, oh, shit, when he threw the ball. Let's see.
Hey, bro, remember that Father's Day back in 2023?
Yeah. Dad said, oh, shit. Maybe we should have kept that. Big bro, I love big bro. Because, you know, this is just what it's like every day at their house. It's big bro, just little brother, you've done me wrong again.
Me a foul ball. This is a Father's Day. Oh, we got to never be forgotten.
All right, welcome back to Fenway Park, and we're
That's great. I'm sorry, that's great. That's dad business right there. Two brothers going at it. Dad trying to just maintain some nice day at the ballpark, and suddenly we've got this whole situation we're dealing with. Speaking of baseball, by the way, I was going to do a catch-up on the Death Trilogy. You know, we have done it in a month, and I want to do it like monthly, so I think we're going to have to put together, it's been since late March, the last time that we did a catch-up on the Celebrity Death Trilogy, and we're not going to do that today, but we are going to note the passing of a great when we talk about baseball, John Sterling. John Sterling, who, you know, maybe unless you're a real baseball fan, you maybe don't know who he is, unless you grew up in New York, unless you're a New York Yankee fan, but John Sterling is the legendary voice of the New York Yankees. Just so pro, just so like when you hear that, you're like, yeah, that's the very top of what classic American baseball play-by-play is about. John Sterling died yesterday. He was very old. He was like old. But I want to show you this. Here's a fun little video of John Sterling that was going around yesterday as the baseball world remembers John Sterling. John Sterling did a live play-by-play call of a foul ball that actually hit him in the face. Like why he did the foul. It's a very famous John Sterling call. And it started circulating yesterday again. So let's watch this as we mourn the passing of one of baseball's greats, voice of the New York Yankees for all those years, John Sterling. Here he is.
Now the 3-2 swung on. A pop foul back here.
Ow! The greatest. But his recovery is so pro. Look at him, all this poor guy. No, he just got hit right in the face, and he clocked it the whole way. That's fouled off, coming right back at him. Ow, jeez.
Now the 3-2 swung on. A pop foul back here. It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far. And Holmes ready to deal. A ground ball to third. Donaldson squares. Throws to first. In time. Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees.
That's a pro. That's a pro. Takes one right to the face and then is composed enough to come right back on the next play and call a Yankees victory. John Sterling, one of the greats of modern baseball, he is gone. All right. Question for you. Question for you. Hold on. Let me get a sip here because I got to figure out how to talk about this properly. I'm not a big porn guy, right? Like I used to joke like back in Texas, it's like, well, I broke my porn addiction. I mean, I never had a porn addiction, but Texas, when they banned all the porn sites or whatever, it's like, didn't even, I'm like, maybe if I was like, 19, I'm sure my son is struggling with Texas's porn bans and all that. So, but I've never really been, I'm not a big porn guy. Whatever. No more, no less, no weirder, no less weird than any normal person, right? I'm not against it. I think there should be, I really do think there should be a conversation about regulating it to a greater extent. I think that it's far too easily accessible to people who are probably impressionable. And I don't think that we need that kind of sexual depictions, hitting kids too early. You know what I mean? I don't want, it just seems like it might be a little much for somebody who's just kind of coming into an understanding of what sexuality is. So that would be my big complaint about it. But I'm not one of these people that thinks it needs to be outlawed or blah, blah, blah. Now, to that extent, I would say porn has sort of morphed now. It has changed. I mean, I don't know what, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was all about the porn tubes, right? Like Pornhub and YouPorn and the X's or whatever. I don't know. There's a whole shit tons of them. I mean, there's a Pornhub, X hamster, X gerbil, X guinea pig, right? They got all of these. They're all out there. And that used to be the thing. But now apparently, we keep hearing about OnlyFans. OnlyFans is now like the big way to monetize your sexuality from the privacy of your own house. If you just want everybody to watch you, whatever it is, it seems very degenerate. It just seems very, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be judgmental about this stuff, but it just seems very, I don't know. I'd have to really think it through. Anyway, I am unfamiliar with what OnlyFans is, other than I know that there are a whole bunch of very beautiful young girls who now don't wait tables anymore. How's that? They don't cocktail waitress anymore. They're doing something different, and it's on OnlyFans. All right. So that's nothing new either. That's been going on for 10 years, maybe. I don't know. But here's my question. Do you care if the OnlyFans model that you are patronizing, that you are giving your debit card, I don't even know how it works, but whatever. Are you aware or do you care if it's a real person? Because apparently there is a problem with OnlyFans right now in that a whole shit ton of these models that people are interacting with and having these things are not real people. They actually are real people. They're just not who you're seeing. Apparently, and again, I don't know, and I'm going to keep saying apparently, allegedly, or blah, 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 but I'm going to show you an example of what's going on there. Apparently, there is some kind of AI technology that can take me and basically, I'll be on camera and I'll be talking to you like this, but you ain't seeing me. There is like a technology that can lay over me and turn me into Scarlett Johansson. She would sound like me or whatever, maybe would alter my voice to some, but it's me on OnlyFans, a dude pretending to be a woman, because what you're seeing is an AI overlay of my actions as a woman. And apparently this is huge on OnlyFans to the extent that like a dude, here's the point. All right, let me just tell you. Okay. So a dude like me, probably not me because I'd be a fat chick, right? Like that chick's fat and ugly. Anyway, but a dude like me can now go on OnlyFans and have like a whole bunch of followers and make all this OnlyFans money. And I guess I would have to actually do these things to myself or whatever, but the viewer wouldn't see me. They would see. Now, I'd be afraid that in the middle of it, it would glitch and it would go away and they'd just be seeing me. But I guess my question is, this doesn't bother people? This isn't a secret anymore. This is something that doesn't bother people. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about here. Okay, this is a viral video that was going around over the weekend, but I wanted to like look and see if this was real or what is this about. This is very real. And here it is. Does this bother you? I guess is what I would say, because I really think it would bother me. So this is what it looks like. It is a side by side. It is what is really happening, which is this dude, and then the side, the split screen is what you're seeing happening. And what you're going to be looking at is a girl in her underwear, really hot, doing everything that the dude in the box next to her is doing. Like if the dude makes a face, the girl in her underwear makes the same face. It is weird. And I don't know if it's, I don't know if this is like a deal breaker for people. I have no idea. Anyway, let's look at this. This is really kind of crazy. Here we go. All right. All right, you see what we're looking at? Okay, so this is what's really happening. The guy on the right, this is the real OnlyFans model that you're paying money to. But this is what you're seeing. This is who you think you're paying money to. Or maybe you know. I don't know how this works, but this is wild. Do you see what's happening here? Do you see is this gay? I don't know what is happening here. So anything that this guy does. And here's another problem. Can I just tell you this? I know full well that she ain't right. Like, she's not real. I know this. That's an AI skin. That's not a real person. What's real is him. But why is she like, with his mannerisms and stuff, she's kind of sexy. She's kind of sexy. Like the faces that he's making as those faces translate to her face, kind of sexy. He's like, I don't know if he's trying to be, I don't know if she's moving dude-like, if he's moving like I don't know what's going on here, but I'm looking at her and I'm going, she's kind of attractive. The faces and the body movements, I don't know, it's working for me. This is like chewing gum. I don't know. It seems hot. Very relaxed, very casual, not uptight. All right, here, like right here, this is weird. Like when she smiled before, you saw like an AI glitch. See this little X or this little line right here? See if I can find any more glitch, AI glitch. No, this is real. This matches. That's his look. Look at it. She's his look at him. He looks like Goober. He looks like McLovin. Over on her, it's like Gabrielle Reese from the 1998 Beach Volleyball Championships. By the way, is that Gabrielle Reese? Is that Gabrielle? Does that? I don't know. I was looking at her and I'm thinking that girl looks like Gabrielle Reese. Is it supposed to be Gabrielle Reese? Gabrielle Reese was like a 90s sex symbol. She was a beach volleyball champion. Right? And that's like a beach volleyball outfit. Looks like it. Oh my God. All right, porn, man. Porn is getting weird. And now you don't have to be a hot chick to make all kinds of money on OnlyFans. Apparently, you can be... Although that guy's body was different than her body, so maybe I could be somebody sexy. I don't know. I think knowing that... I'm trying to figure out if knowing the truth behind that beautiful woman who may or may not be Gabby Reese, if knowing the truth that it's a guy, I'm trying to figure out if that would be like a boner killer for me. And I don't know. I don't think I care. I think I'm just dialing into the hot girl. That's what's triggering. Compartmentalize. I feel like I can compartmentalize. Barney has a good observation. He might be right. He thinks we're all gay now. We might all be gay. That might be a problem. Adam, he says, this is why I make my OnlyFans model show me their IDs. Yes, with of course address, just so you can send them proper paperwork for your taxes. I'm gonna need your exact address. OnlyFans model. That's funny. Peter's birthday, so let's all one more time make sure we give a good thought for Peter and Kim tonight. So what happens if he pulls out his... I don't know. I don't know how it works. I need more videos. I need to see how that works. I don't know. Does he do a lot of butt stuff to avoid the whole front genital part? Because, yeah, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? Is that Gabrielle Reese? Seriously, now I got to know. I got to see what Gabrielle Reese looks like. I thought that was Gabrielle Reese. Gabrielle Reese. She's probably...
According to Wikipedia, he's the ringleader of the Malibu Mob, an exclusive gang of athletes and celebrities that live in Malibu and hang out together during the summer.
The hell is Google talking about? I just asked it. I said Gabrielle Reese, and then it gave me this totally fictional biography. None of those things apply to Gabrielle Reese. Let me see. Oh, let's see if that's her. I think it is. Maybe there's a picture of her in like Gabrielle Reese, like underwear kind of a deal. All right. But I think that might be her now. Let's see if there's any pictures from back in the day. All right, let's see her in a volleyball outfit. So similar to the other girl. And show me her. I don't need 48-year-old Gabrielle Reese. Okay? I'm looking for hot bathing suit 1996 Gabby Reese. All right, we're not going to get that. All right, you know what? I'm just going to say that dude chose a skin, and the skin that he chose was 1990s Gabby Reese, which is, okay, very good. All right. What else do we have here? Mark Cuban. Here's an interesting piece of video from Mark Cuban. Everybody's going on podcasts and just telling good stories that go viral. Here's Mark Cuban telling a story about his relationship with Elon Musk. Mark Cuban is great at this stuff. Mark Cuban, the first time he was a regular on the old Pugs and Kelly show for the first couple of years, and then he just got busy with other things. But he was a regular. And one of the first stories that he told, now this is probably 2001, 2002, probably 2001. One of the first stories that he ever told us, it was about Donald Trump. Again, Donald Trump didn't become a politician guy until 2016. But Mark Cuban was telling this funny story about how all right, so here's the story that Cuban told about Mark Cuban. He says the year is like 1996, 1997. The .com situation is happening. Mark Cuban had just made his money. So whatever year it was that Mark Cuban made his money, he even said, he's like, I had only been rich for like 6 months when I get invited to this big private party at Mar-a-Lago down there in Florida. And what this is Donald Trump has invited all of the young, brash, tech, wannabe, whatevers. All the people, the early Google people, the early AOL people, Mark Cuban, everybody who rode the .com bubble into billions, right? Michael Dell, probably Larry Ellison, all of these young people who popped up at this time get invited for this very private party that Donald Trump is holding. Now, this is not politician Donald Trump. This is still 1990s Donald Trump, Mar-a-Lago. And Mark Cuban told a story about how Mark Cuban and Michael Dell were seated around the pool at Mar-a-Lago, sipping on drinks and just talking. They were all young billionaires at this point or whatever. So it's Michael Dell of Dell Computers and Mark Cuban. And he says that, we're just having a conversation. And all of a sudden, there's this big veranda over the pool. Again, this is like 96, 97. And the doors swing open, and Donald Trump in a white monogrammed bathrobe emerges on the balcony as if he's like the Pope greeting all of these young .com tech guys, right? Donald Trump goes, welcome to Mar-a-Lago, and he gives this whole speech. And at the end of it, he tags it with, and one day, if you're smart like me, all this can be yours. And apparently, according to Mark Cuban, Michael Dell, who was sitting below Trump, said, I just bought the parent company that owns you. Like, that's just, even back then, Trump had no self-awareness. He is standing there and he is trying to preach to all of these young guys. Trump probably just thought they were rich. He had no idea that Michael Dell was like worth 5 times what Trump was in 96, or that Cuban had just made billions off of the sale of his broadcast.com. But the arrogance, even back then, of Trump was, and one day this could all be yours, to which Michael Dell said, that kind of already is, dude. I own the company that owns you. So anyway, that's a great story. So that was one of my favorite Mark Cuban stories about Donald Trump and how silly he was. And again, Mark Cuban was talking about how silly and absurd Donald Trump was all the way back in 2001. So now comes Mark Cuban. He goes on a podcast and he's talking, telling another story kind of like that. Not necessarily the same. It's not about Donald Trump. This time, Mark Cuban went on a podcast and talked about his relationship with Elon Musk. And, you know, one of the great things about having FU money, of which Mark Cuban absolutely does, having FU money means you don't give a crap about who you shit on publicly.
I don't dislike Elon, but he says some stupid shit. And it's just like, I have no problem calling him out. And he's thin-skinned, right? And so like, I'll tell you my one little Elon story. Right? So I didn't get to know him, but I was helped him with something, tried to help him. And so I had his number, and I texted him a couple times. Like, he had a kid, and I'm like, congrats on your 97 kid. He texted me back, Mars needs kids, right? Mars needs people. And I'm like, that's funny shit, right? And so one day I had said something about it, and he just sends me a text with the article saying, fuck you. That's it. Just fuck you. And I was like, okay. It's truth, right? Fuck you. Like, okay, so that's
the article that
I said something that wasn't completely positive.
All right, so apparently Mark Cuban was in a magazine, gave an interview, and they asked him about his Tesla, and Mark Cuban said, I've been having nothing but problems with the Tesla. Cut to a short time later, Elon Musk sends Mark Cuban a link to that article, and he writes, fuck you. Right? Totally in response to Mark Cuban saying that he wasn't happy with his Tesla.
Okay, so that's
a text with the article
that I said something that wasn't completely, totally positive about Tesla.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so that's what the article was.
Right, so he was just like, fuck you. I'm like, okay. And then it was nothing. No big deal. I don't care one way or the other. And then we buy Twitter, right? Then he starts getting real political, right? So not a lot of people stand up to him. And I'm like, I don't care. Right? So he's called me racist. He's called me, poop emoji multiple times. He calls me all these.
Mark Cuban, the wealthiest man in the world. Remember earlier when I was saying what happened when the days of the 1%ers were at least trying to be sophisticates? Now you've got the world's wealthiest. Mark Cuban is a giant poop.
Names. And so that, to me, that just gives me license to fuck with him even more.
Yeah, it does. All right, I thought that was interesting. There you go. Mark Cuban, fuck you, Mark. He said so, baby. All right. Let's see. That's it, guys. I think that's it. I think that's all we're gonna do. That's we're gonna be done for the day. We're gonna come back tomorrow and we're gonna do more shows because it's Pledge Week, and I did not hear the tip jar go off, but that's okay. I have to tell you this. After yesterday doing a show where we got no tips, first day of tip day or tip week, Pledge Week, oh my God. I decided I wasn't going to look at it again. I won't look at it again till Wednesday. So please, because I just can't be doing that. I can't be just like looking to see if the show is going to be saved every 10 minutes. It's just not healthy for me. We're just going to let it roll and we're going to see what happens. And so please support the show if you can. Drop a little tip, drop a little something. Help us continue to do this kind of talk radio, which really, I've struggled to define it, and I think that that's a good thing, but ultimately, talk for normal working class Americans. That's what we do here. It's not that hard, right? All right, so please, if you have a moment, drop a little something into the Cash App or the Venmo, and we'll be back tomorrow. I got some stuff I got to do here after the show today, and then, oh man, I'm telling you, can I just... Oh, what is the stat? Check this out. So I love baseball, and I'm back to being in baseball. I'm back. I dropped out of my, diehard love for my Chicago White Sox for 2 years, and now I'm back. And, let me tell you, the Rangers won the World Series, and that's kind of what made me go, I'm going to be a Ranger fan now. And guess what? The Rangers shit the bed after that, and I'm like, I'm back. I'm back with my White Sox. I enjoyed the Rangers winning the World Series season. That was great. Who didn't love that? But now I am back with my White Sox. But let me tell you something about Chicago baseball right now. We are the hottest baseball city in America. The Cubs, who I am not a fan of, but are the Cubs have won 14 out of their last 15, and the White Sox have won 13 out of their last 50 or 12 out of their. It's some crazy, insane stat about our two baseball teams and how hot they are. And why is this important? Well, first of all, because the Cubs could very well win the World Series this year. They are a team that is loaded to be one of the best teams in baseball. So God bless them. Good luck to them. There you go. So they are expected to be where they are. The White Sox 2 years ago set the Major League Baseball record for worst team ever. We were gutted. We were the worst team in baseball. We were the second worst team in baseball last year. And so this year, to find us here where we are one game. We are one game under 500. I think we started the season, we lost like the first 15 of our first 16. So it was a hole to climb out of. But over the last couple of weeks, man, Chicago baseball teams are just crushing it. Now, why is this important? Because we're 1 week away from the Crosstown Classic. Oh my God! This is so much fun. It's basically the Red River, rivalry. Dallas gets nuts for like a weekend there in October when Crosstown Classic, Cubs, Sox. And when both teams are hot and when both fan bases are now stuck together side by side, this is going to be exciting. Anyway, I got a Sox game tonight, so I look forward to that. I look forward to baseball. I like baseball. Baseball been very, very good to me. What else do I need to mention? Now, what was that? Baseball has not been very, very good to me. Baseball's been awful to me. Baseball's given me one World Series. There's only been one successful season in all of my years of watching baseball. And that's how you got to look at it. If your team on opening day, if your team doesn't win the World Series, it's not a success. That's what I say. So I've probably watched about 50 seasons of baseball. Just one of them have been a success. 49 have fallen short. Some very short. Most not even close. So anyway, baseball hasn't been very, very good to me. What else do I need to mention? Anything else? Yeah. How about this? You guys watching Funny AF? Funny AF on Netflix. It's Kevin Hart's new kind of spin on Last Comic Standing. There's like 4 episodes of the tournament where all of these unknown stand-up comedians are competing against each other. Those are like the first 4 episodes. There's a very funny roast episode where all of the contestants have to perform a roast of Marshawn Lynch. And it looks exactly like a Comedy Central roast. I mean, it's Kevin Hart. There's a lot of money involved. So that's a good episode. But tonight is the finals. I'm not going to tell you who's in the finals, just in case you want to, binge and catch up or whatever. Tonight is the live finals on Netflix for the Kevin Hart Funny AF competition. The winner gets their own Netflix special. Last night was live too. Last night was the semifinals. Watch that before the White Sox game. White Sox playing on the West Coast, so it's like a 9:00 start. So I'm able to get some early TV watching in. But tonight, if you're interested, tonight is the live finals on Netflix. And by the way, Netflix is monkeying around with the live streaming aspects of their platform. They've done a few fights. I think they did a Jake Paul fight, right? Didn't they do a football game? Netflix did an NFL football game. So they're trying to get more involved in the live streaming sort of aspects of things. And this Kevin Hart thing, it's like a live American Idol finale, if you will. So if you're interested, that's happening tonight, I believe, 8:00. 8:00 on Netflix. Semifinals last night were live. You can vote with your remote, and it works. Like, I thought they were explaining how this works. Like, all right, at home, when you see this, click on your remote, and you will be able to live vote. And I'm like, oh, yeah, right. Right? I'm like, this is never going to work. This is stupid. We're going to read tomorrow about how Netflix shit the bed with their whole live voting, with our own individual remotes and all that. Well, it worked. It worked. Look at that. It worked. I'm like, live voting. And I'm like, your vote has been counted. I'm like, awesome. So anyway, they're coming along. Netflix is coming along. It's going to be just like, you know what's going to eventually happen? We're going to go back to being appointment television, just like the networks were. Our favorite shows are going to be live on Netflix at a specific time, once a week. Why? Because they're going to realize that that was a way that they could control us better. They don't like the binging thing. They don't like, us being able to watch their content whenever we want at our leisure. It's difficult for them to account for that. How can they sell that? So they're going to start, this is how we're going to move. We're going to move away from this binge, right, on-demand kind of world, and they're going to take it back, and it's going to be a way for them to control it and to be able to sell the views. So anyway, Netflix is moving that way, and here we go. Live Netflix. Kevin Hart, funny AF, the finals tonight. Kid from Plano, I think is going to be the winner. Well, I don't want to give that away because I don't want to, Anyway, Kid from Plano. Usama Sadiqi. I think I played something for you from him last week. But anyway, but there's also, man, there's so many fun. There are really some very funny comedians. There is this one girl, Olivia something, and I don't know what her name is. I don't even know if she made it through because I don't want to spoil anything. But she is so incredibly unique. She is just like if you're just, I like to go to clubs, I like to laugh, Andrew Dice Clay is my favorite comedian. Like if that's you're going to hate her. You're going to be like, fuck this chick. But man, just the art form of comedy, she is doing something different. And, she would do her routines and it wouldn't go over like some people would snicker. Some people would get her jokes. Her jokes are buried. Her jokes are like, they sneak up on you. You're like, oh, I get what she meant. She's just really doing comedy in a weird new way. And Kevin Hart is like, after every one of her set, he's like, you're a genius. He's like, you are a genius. The way you made that joke work at the end. Anyway, her name is Olivia something. And she's only like 23 years old. She's not gut-busting funny. She has a Stephen Wright type delivery, if that means anything to you. So imagine Stephen Wright coming from a 22-year-old goth girl who looks like she's an extra in Edward Scissorhands. That's what she looks like. But man, she's funny. She's got something. She ain't gonna win, I don't think, because no way that level of artistic commitment to the art of stand-up comedy will ever be appreciated in one of these kinds of contests. But she's gonna do something. She is funny. Kevin Hart, funny AF tonight, 8:00 Netflix live stream finals. Guys, that's it. I love y'all. Have a great night, and we'll be back here tomorrow. Thank you to Maddie, who made that Met Gala thing fun for me. I appreciate that. Thank you to you. Happy birthday, Peter. Love you, buddy. And we'll see. We'll see if we'll have an executive producer tomorrow. Hopefully we will. Bye, everybody.